Splendid. We return to space. So last time we helped the. Well, does someone else want to give a synopsis? Because I've been talking a fair bit.
I feel like John should do it because this was all his kind of like pilgrimage to the way.
Okay. Well, last session we were given a mission from the strange society of way users known as the Night Speakers from a member of their order called Ismissa in the Holt system. We were basically given the task of taking one of the ashes of one of their ancient and deceased masters, a person called Kadat, I believe it was, and we were taking their ashes in a sort of phylactery urn to this ancient mortuary temple on the night side of the planet Sahandra, which is sort of tidally locked, so one side's always in night. But we had to first go to these different columns, as they call them, 4 of them, and each one of them involved a trial that we had to pass. The first one being like the column of endurance, then there was the column of silence, the column of synchronicity, and the 4th column, if we'd performed all of the tasks correctly, when we went to the night side to visit the 4th column, the way to the temple would be revealed. So we went to various places, did all these trials. The way was revealed to us. We took the urn in, set it in the relevant place, but then as we were coming out, we were sort of attacked by these remnants, or these sort of revivified like zombies of all the previous aspirants who'd failed or had succeeded but not been able to leave the temple. So my character, Zenith used my way powers to basically force push all of the zombies out of the way. We legged it out, got back, happy days, job done, went back to the Night Speakers, and they, because of our work with them, have now offered us another mission, which I've pretty much gone, yes, I would like to join you. Accept your mission, Night Speakers.
Yep.
That was a much more comprehensive version than Viper would have given.
I could have gone more comprehensive, but obviously, we don't my summarization to be as long as the actual session.
Mine would have been did some jobs for the night
Night walkers,
night walkers, bunch of spiritual mumbo jumbo.
The night sleepers. What are they?
We get a job for the day walkers.
The day walker.
Well, you could actually be called a daywalker on Sonhandra, and it would make sense because you would be on the day side and be scorched and radiated, and it would be a bad time.
We're actually doing pretty well in terms of like resources and things at the moment.
Yep.
We're a professional and well outfitted organization now.
Yeah, I believe you have quite the stack of creds as well on hand, if need be. So the Night Speakers contact you at a later date with, I think this one will just be a communique on your, I suppose, comms device on the ship. It's not from a named representative that you can tell, but they have established, I want to say, like a set of codes, I guess, that you can use it to tell that it's them. They have a thing that they would like to ask you to do, and they started off the brief mentioning that they understand that it is fairly high risk. However,
go on.
You've proven quite capable and resourceful as well, and that is indeed quite true, because at least the last session activity, they didn't really give you a lot of instructions on like what to do.
I think that was part of the assignment.
Yeah, it was, and it's paying off because they are now trusting you to be able to come up with stuff on your own. So you see some familiar names right off the top as you peruse, I suppose, this dossier that you've been transmitted to your ship consoles, the night speakers want you to go to Isotropa Max Secure. I'll put it in chat. I suppose Isotropa Max Secure could be used as well. That is a place known to all of you. It is the most secure prison facility in the sector. At least nominally, it reports to the sector governor. However, in actual fact, it kind of runs itself. So it's sort of like a private prison, and it is, as the name sort of says, the most secure facility for individuals who need to be incarcerated in this sector. And they want you to go into Isotropa Max Secure and retrieve an individual called Lieutenant Liara, who you know from that one mission that the Church of Stellar Flame tried to offer you, which you didn't care about.
Is she the one that we warned that they were after her?
Yes. So she is kind of like the second in command of the Legion in the sector. And apparently some things have gone wrong. She is now in this Supermax incarceration facility space station. It's floating quite near the sun, or rather the star, in the Breck system, which is the system where you have the desert planet, which we had the worm adventures on. It orbits the star quite close to add on top of like layers of security with the hostile and space environment and stuff. But it's a space station, and Liara is there, and the night speakers apparently have some intel on this, and you get this sort of like short brief on the situation with Liara. So Liara was apparently the target of an assassination attempt, and the night speakers have almost 100% confirmed that it was the Church of the Stellar Flame behind the attempt. However, the lieutenant was, or whoever was with her at the time, succeeded in defeating the assassins. And apparently, and this is where the night speakers get real interested in this, apparently she interrogated some of them for who they are and what they're doing, who they work for. And apparently the assassins had enough information to make it possible for someone with the appropriate equipment to track and locate the Stellarite headquarters in the sector, which they don't have because this is far away from the actual heart of the hegemony. They don't have a lot of assets in the sector, but they do have a battle cruiser in the sector. And the assassins knew how to basically trace the location of this battle cruiser called the Way of Light. And the night speakers want this information. They want to know how to find the battle cruiser of the Stellarites. And the reason why Liara is in Isotropa Max Secure is that apparently the Stellarites managed to pull some strings or bribe someone. They don't exactly know how, but they managed to arrange matters so that Liara was arrested for the murder of these assassins. And now she is in this prison facility. So they want you to go in there, get Liara out so that the night speakers can get the information from Liara. An extraction mission.
So is there anything in this for her that we can use to make her come with us willingly?
That's exactly what I was thinking. What if she doesn't want to cooperate?
I like to think the offer of, like, you know, you're in that maximum security prison, how do you fancy not being in it, would be a sufficient inducement.
No, but then, I mean, as soon as she has the opportunity, she could turn us. That's what I mean. Like, Legion, you gotta be careful with these guys. They're meme foes. Ruin my tattoos just nonchalantly.
So yeah, you've been looking at this brief, and there's nothing in there which like the night speakers have prepped with, like, oh yeah, you can tell Liara this, that, and the other thing. They're laying it out as an asset called Liara. Go get,
Please.
bring.
Well, it seems to me that I'll say, as we're sort of discussing this mission, that the easiest way for us to get in there would be to research what sort of crimes would end up getting someone in there, and then commit said crimes and be sent to the prison. Then break out once we're inside.
How's about we go get a bounty and take them in?
Well, yeah, but I assume we wouldn't be taking a bounty directly to the prison. We'd turn it over to the nearest authorities and they'd shuttle them off to the prison.
What if the prison just so happened to be the nearest authority?
I suppose it's possible. I mean, but we should investigate to see whether there's...
As the crow flies.
Of course, that depends on whether such a bounty is in existence. And we'll have a look on the sort of Stellarnet to see if there's any sort of applicable bounties available.
Please give us a roll to see.
It's a look roll.
You can use one of your things, whichever you use to obtain this information.
All right. Well, someone else might want to look at that. I'm not really the one for technology.
Well, maybe you could skulk it, John. Maybe you could skulk on the nets, and
I wouldn't be much good at that. I'm not really of the skulking type.
Works for. I think so.
I'm more to attune myself and then go into the kill. So.
Surely the way will have the answer.
But unfortunately, the way doesn't tend to work through automated bounty systems.
Well, that's not as useful, is it?
I keep telling you, Viper, that's not how the way works.
that's not the way.
You tell me you don't know how the way works.
Why don't you ever skulk around on the Stellarnet, Viper, and see what you can find?
Certainly could.
I'm going to, by the way, I looked this up because I wanted us to actually understand what this is, and I wanted to confirm. So there is actually, and I like this a lot about this game, there's a whole breakdown of each individual action thing in the book with an accompanying chart for controlled, risky, and desperate sort of results as well. It's a whole spread for each individual thing. And let me
can't believe it's not desperate.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna try and find that. Okay, here we go. No. Mm-hmm. Okay, here we go. Skulk. So when you skulk, you move stealthily or without being noticed. You might sneak past the security or hide in the shadows. You might lift a cred stick off a mark. You might sneak up behind someone to attack them by surprise, though scrap might be better. You could try to climb the side of a building, but scramble might be better. When you skulk, you conceal your movements and intentions. Yeah.
So I can skulk within the internet. That's what you're saying.
Are you
to
physically
mask my
entering?
intention.
Are you physically entering the internet?
If that's how it works in this game, yeah.
I would assume rig or something similar would be more applicable. Or hack, perhaps.
Yeah, or study. That's also a thing.
I only have one of those, unfortunately.
Also,
Come on,
you can
Mushishi, you're a doctor, not a world-class hacker.
Mushishi probably has study.
I do, but only one.
Yeah, you can get another one by taking a devil's bargain or pushing yourself.
Or you could spend a gambit.
Nah, I think perhaps I am a doctor, not a hack. No. Have we got a gambit?
Yeah, we have two.
And a gambit gives me an extra dice, yeah?
Yes, it does.
What happens if I have dice? Roll some dice for me, love.
You could just click on your character sheet, so it'll roll it for you. If you open up, you're muted, sweetie. We can't hear you.
Where do I click on the character sheet?
You open up your character sheet and you click on the name of the skill that you want to roll.
Did that do it?
I didn't hear anything go.
I can see it says study, but it doesn't appear to show any result.
Oh yeah, it does. It's 2.
Oh yeah. I was glitching out there for a bit. Yeah. So. Okay.
Because that just says roll 1d6. Oh, it's just 1 dice, right? Okay,
yeah. So Hannah, were you using your God damn it, I'm a doctor and not a blah blah blah?
I can do.
No, I mean, because okay, well,
I hadn't intended to.
Yeah, intended to. So you have how much?
To be honest, we're just looking for like some pleb, anyone that needs arresting. It doesn't need to be anyone. I mean, for that matter, we could stick one of us in handcuffs and claim it was mistaken identity when we turn up. I just didn't think going out and committing crime was a good idea.
Do you know what? That's fine. Stick me in handcuffs, shove me in the prison, dealt with.
Grand.
All right, so I think we have our plan in place. So I'm going to find... Where are
Just to double check, Zenith isn't wanted for anything, is he?
I don't think so.
Not unless certain bits of my background come up.
Yeah, I mean, the Stellarites might want him. But
to be honest, I was more thinking of my like massively imperial military family that I've been sort of hiding out from. But
yeah, they
the Stellarites don't really like me either.
No, they don't like anyone who's a mystic, and yeah. So we have our plan, which I think is going to be deception, and the detail is you're trying to say that Zenith is apparently a savage criminal because you're turning him into the most secure facility in the system, so you don't take pickpockets there. So
see, what we should probably do is when they're turning me in, we'll stage some sort of like, oh no, he's breaking loose, and I'll sort of like pretend to like clock Viper around the face or whatever. Then she can like pretend to inject me with some like tranquilizers, and I'll just be like, ugh. And they can be like, oh, you know, you would keep your eye on him. And then also, hopefully, they'll think I'm tranquilized, so they won't be keeping an eye on me. When I get in, I can be like, you want to remove these manacles.
You go, Alec Guinness.
That's it. And you can go about your business. This isn't the ancient blade you're looking for.
Good times.
So, yeah.
So
let's see how this plays out.
Yep. So
recklessly, that's how
yeah.
we play out.
Yeah. So
best believe I'm asking some reckless XP when I'm saying, yeah, send me to a prison, it's fine.
Let's see how your plan goes. So we have our plan, we have the details, this is good. We're on to the engagement roll. So particularly bold or daring, I would say so. So we're up to 2 dice. Complex or contingent on many factors. I would say that the completion of this is contingent on a lot of factors. So we're down to 1.
Just to check before we go any further, guys.
Yep.
Once I've got into the prison, assuming I'm able to locate the lieutenant, I'm going to tick the. If it's all right with Giannis, I'm going to tick the communicator on my load.
Yeah.
I'll take a light load because I'm not going to be able to carry like kit. I'm a
Yeah.
prisoner. And then presumably it'll be like, I don't know, like some subdermal communicator. Or my plan will be to like locate her, give them a quick fucking signal. Hopefully have Viper like standing by like on the ship, ready to like swoop in like Junior Rocket Man style and like pick us up and we can get out of here.
Rocket Man.
Burning out this
Yeah.
fuse out there alone.
Yep. It's going to be. You can definitely have some kind of, like, I don't know, like a temporary thing that you attach on your throat to have a communications device. However, it's going to be eventually a problem that we need to then roll for going forward if they pick it up or something. But you can definitely. That's a good plan. Okay, so
Do we have an exit strategy for getting them out of the prison? Or is that
Did you just miss my whole you swoop in and pick us up and we get the hell out of
get
Dodge?
get to the chopper?
Yeah, but
Get
that's
to the
like
Cerberus!
that's like the end of the extraction, John.
Look. I'm doing my bit in the prison. Can I just leave it up to you guys to like work out the details of like picking me up, assuming I manage to find the person and break my way out of a maximum security prison? I've got enough to think about, Viper. I'm going to be lucky if I don't get out being like, I've got so much more trauma.
He needs some.
Do prisoner exchanges work in this sector? Like
What do you mean?
moving them between facilities.
This isn't Dead
If we
Space. is
turned
it?
up with paperwork to swap one for another, would we have any chance of obtaining that paperwork? Or knowing what it would look
we can always
like?
just turn up with some random paperwork and I can be like, you've seen the paperwork. It was all in order. Now, but
That's also a possibility.
So what's the plan, guys? Anything you say can be attempted.
As a reckless mofo, I'm still up for the like get me in deep cover style in the prison.
I think that's a great idea because he's probably the most. If he goes in like light, he takes still most of his abilities with him. You know what I mean? He's still got the way. He can still get out.
Yeah, I'm quite happy to like go and drop you off at the prison, and then maybe try and do a flyby for you later on. That's all fine.
Like I say, you lurk somewhere nearby, like I don't know, like an asteroid belt or something. Once I find the lieutenant,
Because they're not going to be checking those regularly.
Once we find the lieutenant, and I don't know, like, I can break us out and we can get to like an exercise yard or something like that. As we're breaking out, I give you the old like signal on the subdermal communicator. Viper like hits the retros, comes burning in, drop some ropes down, or like just open a hatch, and I'll like force jump me and the lieutenant up into the bottom of the ship. We zoom away, and then we just got to rely on Viper's ace piloting skills to get us away from the flight of like fighter ships that will no doubt pursue us. And we get a little bit of space combat in, which we've handily just bought shields to prepare for.
I see you have this all planned out. Perhaps we should just try and ride it out, Viper.
This is less a plan and more of a Star Wars storyboard.
Embrace your
I've just action scenes happening. I had a question for the Space Master, Master. These spacesuits, right? You can get these on the sheet.
Yeah.
Are these like big clunky spacesuits? Are we talking like Silent Running, Apollo 13?
Up to you.
These, is it possible to have like a couple of spacesuits like inside like a ring or something, you know, like compressed in there? Like so
inside a ring?
Like the Flash's suit.
Yeah. Like that's what I mean. Like so if he ends up getting knocked, you know, exposed to space, we can like scoop him up.
Are we talking like inflatable like space fabrics, or are we talking like Iron Man? You toggle the thing and it nano constructs a suit on you.
Whichever works in this universe.
No, it's up to you. I'm asking you.
I'd have gone for the first one because it's
Yeah,
it's like a little suit.
so you.
Yeah, the first one does sound more our style.
I'm just thinking that would be something he could smuggle in, and then, if he got an airlock or something, couldn't he?
Yeah,
We could pick
when
him
I
up.
stroll in like wearing like a massive ring, they're not going to like get anything's a bit.
Yeah, they're not gonna take your ring off. Obviously.
Oh no, you're gonna have to store it in the smuggler's
Yeah,
pocket, mate.
there's only one way you're getting that into a prison.
You're
and
gonna
I
get two of them
suspect
in
it
there,
would
John.
still show up on an X-ray.
That's fine.
See,
I'll take
However,
just he's got a calcium deficiency.
however, we could make something that looks like an artificial organ on an X-ray. Although that would require you performing surgery on yourself in hospital to retrieve anything that was inside. So maybe.
I'm liking the James Bond aspect.
Sounds a little bit implausible, to be honest. I've got my surgery skills aren't exactly amazing. In fact, they're pretty much non-existent.
See, because this is the point. I get the part. Zenith goes in deep cover, uses the wig, gets our target, gets out of the cell, but it's the point of getting out of the prison and then me picking them up. That's where I'm like, well, we need a little something there.
This is the prison, right? This is your ship. Give you the signal. Yeah. You fly in, ropes down, or open a hatch in the bottom of the ship. I grab the woman, force jump up into the bottom of the ship. You hit the retros,
okay.
we fly off. You do some fancy flying to avoid the fighters who are going to pursue us. We lose them in the asteroid belt. Jump to hyperspace. Back home in time for Team Crumpets.
Right. So what you're saying is the spacesuit isn't your style?
So you're planning an all-out assault?
No.
With our little ship on a maximum security prison?
No, I'm planning on getting the person, getting us to like an exercise yard, jumping into your ship that's come down. Once we're in the ship, we fly off. They scramble the fighters or whatever to come after us. Viper loses them with his ace piloting skills. We hit the hyperspace drive.
They're pretty good.
We go back to the night speakers. We're like, there's your lieutenant. Thank you very much. Bish bash bosh, done.
Okay.
Well, I know Viper's good for it. Look at him. He's itching for a bit of space combat and a bit of dogfighting.
I'm fine.
I've heard you were dying to try out them new shields when we got them.
I was. The ship could take a pounding now, and I want to see it happen.
You get to do some fancy manoeuvres, like skimming asteroids and stuff like that. You know, flying between two as they're like coming together and like lose the fighters.
You know me. I am down for some space ballet, but I don't want your life to be the cost of this. You know, we're putting you at the most risk here.
I find your lack of faith in my plan disturbing.
It's not like a faith in your plan. It's the understanding that no plan ever goes 100% your way.
Well, no, of course it doesn't. That's why you have to have faith in
So
the
that's
way.
why get on the table, let the doctor put a special organ in you.
That's definitely not going to work. So I then have to perform surgery on myself to remove it, which will fail, and I'll basically probably end up bleeding to death from my own hand in the prison. I mean, unless the plan's just for me to go in and redecorate it a nice shade of arterial red, in which case it's a great plan.
Do you want to borrow my grappling hook?
They won't let me keep a grappling hook, and I'm certainly not trying to hide that in the prison pocket. How do you fire it?
Help! I'm stuck on the seat.
Right.
Wait,
Plan sorted.
Okay, so the plan is you are being basically turned over as a dangerous psychopath.
These guys are going to take me in. Oh, he's a dangerous psychopath. We'll stage like a bit of a mock breakout, you know. I'll do like a few stage punches pretending to not smack Viper a bit. Not actually not smacking him. Which point Mishishi fake injects me. I'll slump forward as though I've been like knocked out. They'll probably then drag me away. I get into the prison, find the lieutenant, get out. Viper's there waiting with the ship, up into the ship. Bit of dogfighting on the way out. Happy days.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good. So back to the engagement roll. So we're at 1. Does this plan's detail expose a vulnerability in the target or hit them where they're weakest? It does not at all. Is the target strongest against this approach? Yes, it in fact is. Can any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight for this operation? Do you have anyone who could help with jailbreak?
I was going to attempt to do a flashback thing and try and help John out with something. I don't know if I have to set that up now.
Depends on what it concerns, because you could do it when we're doing the thing.
I was going to see if I could. I'm guessing you can't use the negative contact.
Well, if you want to talk to Yatu, he's or they or whatever. Yatu is your enemy. So
Yeah.
probably not a.
Okay. Well, okay, maybe the ship mechanic, possibly Triv, ship mechanic, might work on some of the ships in this area and might do some work on. I can get him on board doing some work for the prison, and possibly like either kind of mess the ships up a bit or leave John a care package that you can pick up.
That's a thing we can roll for. However, I do believe that Triv was established on Aleph as a person there.
Yeah.
Last time when we were on Aleph.
Yeah, I think you're
with
right.
the Cobalt Syndicate.
Damn
So
it.
they were ex-legionnaire setting up a family on Aleph.
Yeah, okay, I think you're right.
But you can definitely. That's the thing that you were describing. That is entirely a thing you can do. You can roll your consort or sway or whatever to have contacted a criminal and have like a shiv ready for.
It doesn't have to be a pre-existing contact.
It doesn't. But what you're talking about is a different thing. So if you have on your sheet anyone who could, like the named contact bit, do you have anyone who could help with prison break stuff?
What about Jazri, the fixer? If we're talking about just getting us kit.
No, this is probably like the plan itself.
Oh,
like,
okay.
could someone like help with that?
Does it have to be one of the contacts I've selected previously? One of the two?
Someone that we know of.
I don't think we do.
Because you can't just come up with some like, Steve.
What about that guy we let go? What about that guy?
What, the professor?
The archaeologist?
It's not him which used during a prison break, is it?
The 90-year-old archaeologist?
What about Jakev, the drug dealer? Does he know anyone who's in there or know any details about the prison?
Where did we talk about? So
Jakev, the drug
was...
dealer, was the guy who sold us the map to get to the Starliner, where the Jedi was being tortured and he'd got the artifact, and then John stole the artifact and I shot the Jedi, but I didn't shoot the deputy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you didn't shoot the Padawan.
Yeah.
Would they prefer to be called space children?
Astro Kid. So I think Jakev is probably the one that we could go for, just because like dealing drugs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Familiar with the sort of illicit trading around the sector. Probably they could give you a couple of pointers, which gets you back up to 1 die, which is great. That's good.
I'm gonna spend one of my money on a thank you for him.
Right, for Jakev, yeah. Jakev is very pleased with that.
I bet it is.
Grease the wheels.
Yeah, I mean you've done successful and good business with the mendicants, though they still don't like you. Jakev and the Cobalt Syndicate on Aleph, and you're kind of working on the Magistrate. What is her face? Nabo Omi. you've been working on that as well. So you have quite a lot of people who actually like genuinely like you in the sector. Some of them are bad people, like Jacob, but that's just the world. Okay, so we have one die, and then whatever else you might have for the last bit of consideration will be overshadowed by the fact that Isotropa is tier 4 and you are 1. So we have a die. we have sheer luck on our side. So anyone who wants can make a fortune roll with 1 die, and we'll see how it's due.
Here we go.
This is your plan, Zenith. Do it.
Yeah, I suppose I'm the one looking at life imprisonment if it fails. So here we go. Number of dice 1.
It's going to be 6, isn't it? Because they usually are.
4.
Well, it's a 4. So.
Worse.
So yeah, it's no problem. So mixed results. So you're in a risky position when the action starts. That's good. Still good. So
Hannah secretly is like, yes.
Yeah, because I'm like
he's like
one time when you don't have a 6 on the engagement roll. Because you've been walking into everything like, yeah, we planned all this out. It's going to be great. Blah, 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 blah. Done. So yeah, we cut into the Breck system, and we have the camera zooms in, I suppose, or like pans in a Star Wars style on this big space station orbiting quite close to the star in the system, which is, there's the header on screen, Isotropa Max Secure Private Incarceration Facility.
Dramatic pan across to the space station from the sun.
And we cut in. You're in the processing. You're in processing unit. I want to say like 6B, and you've docked your ship or put it on a landing pad. You've taken Zenith in. Now you have the Isotropa like receiving officials doing some paperwork there, and this is the point where you planned that Zenith would do the like whole theatrics.
Yeah, so basically my plan is I presume I'm like manacled or some shit, but like chains or whatever. Cause
yeah, that's up to you. Cause
yeah, manacles and chains, whatever. So my plan will be, I'm gonna sort of like lash the chains out so they sort of like, it looks like they hit Viper in the face. Then I'll sort of start to do like oh, you'll never take me alive, start to run off, and then obviously Mushishi just be like fake inject me, and I'll be like, slump down to the floor.
So I think it sounds like either you, Zenith, or Mushishi is making a roll, and then probably, if you want, the other one could spend stress and help the other one. But roll a thing to convince these people that this is real.
Okay. I would like to roll my scrap roll because I'm attempting to make a combat look convincing.
Right. Yeah. So you're playing, and then Mushishi, if you want, you can help. Obviously, that costs you 1 stress, but you can give a die if you want to.
Yeah.
Up to you. Okay. I'm assuming it's risky.
Yeah. This is, and I'm just explaining. So what we rolled just before, the engagement roll, determines the position that you're in right now, and that is risky because you rolled a 4. If you had 6, you would be in control. But risky it is. It is a 4. So that means that you do it. However, there are consequences. Let's see. Here we go. So you do it, but there's a consequence. You suffer harm, a complication occurs, or you have reduced effect, or you end up in a desperate position. I think it's probably the desperate position, because they will now be like, oh shit, like this one's wild. Or like he's resistant to whatever sedatives they obviously gave him before coming here.
Yeah. Can I roll to resist this?
Yes, you can. That would be your...
That's the lowest of my stats, isn't it?
It's not. It's actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't remember what the exact procedure was for selecting it. Usually, it's very apparent. So when someone's trying to cut your head off, you roll prowess because that's what that is. So in this instance,
I was going to say about prowess because I did use scrap for the roll.
Mhm.
So
yeah, because I was going to say either prowess or resolve
I'll go for
would be
prowess.
my, because like resolve being like, can you convince them?
It's a 6.
It's a 6. So you do it. So they you cause this scene, and
Don't ever take me alive, slacks.
yeah, and then Mushishi comes in with the sedatives, and you go out, and they there's like a trio of Isotopa guards who come in with their like submachine gun blasters, and the official who was processing you also like grabs like a shock stick, like a stun baton, and everyone like gets up, gets to see like, are you okay? So you pretend to be all
Yeah, I just put
all
like
drugged
on
up.
the side like occasionally.
Yeah, and the officer like switches the baton on, and you can see it because it crackles, and they hold it down, and you're like, oh shit, and he like prods you.
I'm going to try and I'm going to thinking back to like all the times I've meditated with many distractions and physical like problems.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try and just like block that out by like meditating and attuning myself to the way, and just sort of like I don't sort of like suddenly go no as it like zaps me.
Yeah,
And just
so
basically
it's
let
like
it happen.
yeah, so you go into your mental palace, and there's the wiper, which you can see. Yeah, the muscles twitch anyway. Well, you can't really affect that too much, but you get the shock, and the officer looks to Mushishi and like smiles a bit and says, "We prefer to check them. Occasionally, the wild ones are resistant to medical coercion, but this
Very
one's good.
prudent.
This one is good. Grab him." And the guards put their guns off, well, like they have straps, and they grab Zenith, and
I'll just be like acting like a dead weight, so I'll let him pick me up.
the officer processes the thing, and sort of looks at you, Mushishi, taking you to be the brains of the operation, because Viper hasn't really said anything as far as that goes, and you were on the spot with the medicals and whatnot. So
I'm sort of checking out the defenses. I'm looking at seeing like what we can scope out of this place while we're here.
Keep that in mind. We'll get to that role soon. So Mushishi, the officer looks at you and says, "So what is a quick processing worth in this instance? You were not scheduled for today, as far as I can see here, and the bounty for this apparently not yet quite posted. It hasn't reached our system, so there are some administrative issues that will need to be dealt with, possibly delays lasting several weeks."
And what are you asking for to speed up the process?
Obviously, there's a bounty involved, hence you are here. So us processing the bounty will take quite some time due to the aforementioned.
Did we actually set up a bounty?
That's up to you. If you want to have a flashback, you can. It's
That
also a
does
mechanic of
kind
this
of
game.
sound like something that would have been sensible.
We have got guild licenses, so
Yeah,
we've
if
got
you want
access.
to. If you want to, you can flashback and.
I told you that Zenith always looked like a criminal.
Yeah, so what do we have to do a flashback?
So a flashback is you determine what you want to do, which is we want to set up a bounty. Now, my question for that is, do you actually want to put your own money down, which you can, do you want to make it look like someone else posted the bounty? Or do you want to be like, we did it, or like a pseudonym of yours, but you spent the money on it?
I'm thinking we put some of our own money up on it.
Yeah. In that case, yeah.
However, I'd also like to suggest that we don't actually put Zenith's name, and we don't use, like, I'd assume that there'd be a genetic marker or something similar on there for ID.
Just put my actual
I'd
name.
suggest we make it just someone that looks like him as far as the ID thing's concerned, so that he can later then go, oh, that's not even me.
You could always just put my actual name on it.
Would that not cause rather a lot of drama from what you've said about your family?
Well, probably, but that's a tomorrow problem.
Imagine like a really ripe like river pond full of fish, which is like drama, and he's just John's just dropping a massive stick of dynamite in. It's just he's daring something to happen. You reckless bastard.
Okay, is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Right.
put the bounty in the name Thane Valoran.
Okay.
Okay, so if you're using both an actual real name and also your own money, I don't think you have to spend stress or even roll for this, because it's just a thing you could do. So I think you're good. So what they do is, so you've set a bounty for how much credit for Zenith?
Well, I can potentially put 3 up.
Because what he's asking
This
now,
is
and
your crazy plan, Zenith. How much are you putting up on it? Because you know they're going to take a cut.
Well, I can put 1 up, but I spent a lot of my money on gambling and repairing the ship last time. So.
Yeah, excellent use for money.
I just needed to de-stress.
Viper, have you got anything you can put in?
In regards the bounty.
In regards to cold cash.
Oh, money! Yeah, if you want some money, I'm loaded, man.
Grand, put some money onto this bounty.
How much you want? 2.
Well, I'm putting 3 in. That's everything I've got.
So we've got 3. So we've got 6 creds worth altogether.
I can take that out of my stash, right? That's fine.
No. You can take it out of your pocket,
Yeah,
which is the 4 max.
Yeah, that's fine.
From your stash, that is your savings account, which is a little bit more complicated.
Which unfortunately I cleaned out mine because I had to spend most of my stash on gambling.
Okay, so you have how much on the bounty?
6.
I believe it was 6.
Ooh, okay. So what the official is asking is, so how much of this is going to be in my pocket? Because I'm paying you out now because you brought the dude in.
I think 1. I think he'll want 2, and I'll suggest none, and we'll eventually settle on 1. But damn it, Jim, I'm a doctor, not a negotiator.
Yeah, feel free to negotiate. I like that we have gotten to the point where our crew of bounty hunters are setting bounties on themselves with their own money. That's
fake bounties.
Yeah, there's a 6 in there. Yeah, bounties. Yeah, there's a 6 in there. Good. So yeah, you go back and forth with him. You settle on 1 cred. You get the 5 back, and the officer pockets
That'll be
the
your 1 cred that just got spent there, Zenith. With yo.
Yeah, I thought it might be.
Right. So, the officer.
So we've got you in. Have fun.
Yeah, they're taking Zenith. So
Godspeed, sir.
You go into a different room. They start taking off all your stuff, and Viper, please give us a roll.
Any particular type of roll?
No, this is always up to you. Except when you say, like, I want to talk to this guy, and you want to roll Skulk, and that's not the thing you don't.
Because I whisper to him, softly.
What, like Batman?
Like a
hello.
voice whisper.
Tell me where they are.
Tell me. Swear to me.
So
Dark
what is it?
Knight.
Is just all this for scouting the place?
Yeah, whatever you wanted to do. You were looking at the sort of defenses, I guess.
Yeah, like trying to get an idea of the layout and stuff, so
Mm.
I can like
Mm.
assist, like exit points,
Mhm.
patrol routes, that kind of thing. I don't know how much I can remember.
So what I'm hearing you saying is that you're going to be like skulking around and like scoping out the defences.
Yep.
Okay, so you're fucking around in places where you're not supposed to be because that's right. Okay, give us a roll. It will be desperate and it will have limited effect because I don't know if you guys heard, this is a maximum security prison.
Yeah. Okay.
You do it. Please mark XP because that was desperate.
But I don't get a gambit because it's desperate.
Yep.
No, man. Oh.
So you were looking at. Can you
So-
specify it for me?
So it was essentially exit points, so places that he could get out.
Yeah.
Patrol routes, like when I see them on patrol, are they in groups of 3, 4, or the individual? Are these people? Are these droids? Like mechanical?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's
Um,
people. Usually it's 2 or 3
mhm.
going about, and you have some idea of the general layout of.
Yeah.
But it's a secure space station, right? So they don't have
Yeah.
random doors into space. So
Like the architecture. Can I
yeah.
work out where like the security, where like the sort of is max? It's all max security, but I'm guessing there's different zones for different kinds
Yeah.
of criminals.
Yeah.
And where he's going to be, is he
Yeah.
going to be in the same place as the person we want? Like,
Well, luckily you kind of, I think, hit on by accident on the same kind of crime,
right,
which is like psychotic murderer.
See, you say accident, I say that the way guides us.
spoke to us.
No, I believe what you say is called.
So I'm essentially relaying this to Zenith when he wakes up.
Okay, so Zenith, you have some fairly generic information about, I suppose, ventilation ducts
Yeah.
and like garbage chutes
And
into garbage compression units.
If they're carrying like like the guns on like
Yeah. Okay, so you're looking at them as well. So much like you saw, they have sort of like riot armor. They have actual guns like blasters. They have these like shock weapons, and presumably other shit as well. But yeah, you have the sort of like idea of what a person in the staff might be carrying. You have some general ideas about the ventilation shaft and the garbage chutes because gotta have those.
Will this allow me that if Zenith gets lost, I can provide an assist for him to find his way around?
Yeah, you can definitely help him. You have the fictional positioning to spend some stress and try and sort of navigate him through.
Yeah.
If you get into contact with each other. Yep. Good. So you look around. You finally skulk. You did successfully.
Skulked.
Your audio's just gone weird, dude.
Hello.
Yep, I can hear you.
Yep. Fucking. Are we good?
Oh, that's bad.
Are we good?
That's better. Uh-oh.
I was trying to work out if the screen had frozen or not then, and then Matthew's eyes moved.
I was waiting with bated breath.
Yep, we're good.
Hello.
Okay. So, Mushishi and Viper, what do you guys do?
Thank 'em. Possibly try and sell them some like low grade contraband like booze or something.
To the staff?
And then leave.
See you later,
And that
sir.
was how we all ended up in prison.
Yeah. Yeah, so I didn't quite catch all that. So you were selling contraband to the staff? Is that correct?
Basically like booze and fags.
Yeah.
What I'm suggesting is like in order to get us extricate ourselves more easily, we're going to try and sell them something. It's not going to be something that will be illegal to have here. It's probably not going to be something that they actually want, but just to like have them get rid of us, sort of a thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please make it roll for
I believe this would be the consort or sway.
both of those. Sound good?
And I believe I am in some sort of medical role here, obviously medical, and therefore I get that +1 to one of those.
So the way that works is, let's look at
Isn't
your
it?
sheet.
Or is it?
Mushishi. Okay, so you have the welcome anywhere thing.
Yeah.
You're offering to tend to anyone in India. You're offering to tend to their need of cigarettes and booze. But for that, you need your medic garb. So.
Oh, right. I actually need to be wearing the outfit, even though I've been like, they've literally seen me do a medical procedure to. Right,
because that depends on the fact that you have the sort of like, don't shoot me, I'm a doctor thing. Yep. Okay, good. So
I'm a doctor, not a bullet sponge.
I'm a doctor, not a drug dealer.
Well, not often. So, right, because I didn't realize I'd need the doctor outfit. Is there any reason for me not to have the doctor outfit on?
I don't think so necessarily.
Other than
It's just
I have to check it off on the sheet.
Yeah. Also, determine your load. I presume Mushishi and Viper, you're going to be like heavy because it doesn't really matter.
Yes. If push comes to shove, I'm going to have to blow a hole in that prison, get on the prison, and pull his probably ragged ass off.
Yeah, like just go in like Rambo.
Yeah.
It says italics don't count for load, so does that mean I get that item free?
Yeah.
Cool.
That is correct.
Marvelous. In which case, recognizable medical garb is free for me, so I'm wearing it. Grand. So that's 2 dice, right? Because I've got 1 on the thing, and then I get an extra dice, or is it +2 the roll for the dice?
It's +1 die to roll.
+1 die. Grand. 2 dice.
Yes.
Oh, look at that.
So if you have stress, and I think you do have 1, you can clear that.
Plus.
And yeah, you have, I suppose, put the guards somewhat at ease in this area by providing them with the good shit, as they say. All right, and Viper is creeping about probably in a cleaning closet, waiting for
I'm like the Pink Panther.
Yeah.
Skulking about.
What, the Rinketing Panther?
The Pink Viper. Ooh, that
sounds like a specialized nightclub.
Yeah, that's for a downtime.
That's my special project.
That's his stripper name.
I'll say that's his name on Tinder.
Think Viper. loves dogs and fast women.
Long snakes on the beach. So, Zenith, you are taken in and processed. Now, I suppose this is the point where we mark your things and we determine whether or not you get them through the sort of scans and whatnot.
Yeah, I've literally just marked the communicator.
Right, nothing more.
Nope.
That's it. Yep, good. So let's give us a roll of some kind. How would you? Or actually, yeah. So we can deal with this as a flashback. So if you are willing, because it takes a little bit of effort to get the actual. Yep.
I was going to say, I was going to ask whether I can have Mashishi make a doctor roll, because I presume she'd be the one implanting it, and it'd be her skill at hiding it, because I'm not actually doing anything, I'm just like walking in with it. So it's just how well hidden it is rather than like me actively doing anything.
Right, yeah.
I'm not like...
So Mushishi, if you want to, you can spend 1 stress and have performed this thing, rolling your presumably doctor thing,
Mhm.
and then we will have the results of like what happens now. So spend 1
Okay.
stress and roll your thing. Ooh.
Did Zenith want to hear again after this? Because he may need a permanent cochlear implant. Sorry about that.
It's all right,
Do you-
just how the dice go.
Do you want to resist the consequence? Because you can do that as well.
I think maybe we do.
Okay, so you can resist that. You are always successful. Now you need to roll. Is it insight the doctor is under?
Mm-hmm.
I think insight. Roll however many you have in insight, and whatever you get is reduced.
Now, is that all of the triangles in insight, or just the ones in front of that line?
Yeah, just the first.
Just the
tip
ones
of
in
each.
front of the
Yep.
line.
Yep.
I got a 4 and a 2.
Okay, so it costs you 2 stress to resist the consequence of them taking the thing out of Zenith's ear. Okay, so you successfully did it. You hit it quite well, this temporary implant, and it passes for, I suppose, like a hearing aid, like an internal, like actual legit hearing aid, and they leave it in. They wouldn't part an old man from his walking stick, and but they take everything else, and you're given this off-white prisoner garb with your particular sequence of identifying numbers and letters, and they take you to your cell in on level, and you're aware because you're not actually out, so you're taken to level 33 in this facility, which is, you understand, for these like dangerously violent criminals.
That's handy, because I'm hoping that's where the lieutenant will be, given that
Yep.
she apparently brutally murdered a number of people in a psychotic rage.
Yeah. For no provocation at all. Okay, so they take you there. Now, this takes a bit of time because they like spray you with disinfectant. You're like pushed through several different scanners. They pat you down.
To be fair, I'm like, I've just passed through the 4 columns trial of the way like last week, so like bit of bleach being sprayed on me is not really anything.
Yep. And you went into this temple, which you don't know where it is. This ritual space. However, this is far more mundane and kind of unpleasant. It takes a bit. So Mushishi and Viper, what do you do after you've sold the counterfeit cigarettes and the moonshine to the staff?
I was kind of hoping that they wouldn't want to buy.
They do.
I was quite looking forward to drinking that moonshine myself later on. But as it is, we'll thank them very much for their trade and we'll get on our way.
Yeah, I'll start heading back to the ship for plans B to Z.
Okay. And that is, you're going to the ship and you're taking the ship out of the docking bay and you're floating in the vicinity, like orbiting the station, or
taking what I
Well,
believe.
no, we were gonna make it look like we'd left the system, I think, weren't we?
Yeah, like out of sensor range at least.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going quite the distance.
Yeah.
Okay, please give us a roll then, Viper, for, I don't know, are you skulking? Are you doing the thing? Are you doing something else?
I'm trying to keep the ship off the radar.
Mm-hmm.
Could that be skulk, or would that actually be helm in this case though? Because I'm flying.
Both are good.
Skulk.
I'm pleased to tell you both are good because you're flying.
I'm much better at helm than I am at skulk.
And it's helm.
Let's do it. Okay. I can't guarantee that my dice are gonna like. Is this a risky or desperate situation?
This is risky.
Okay.
This is risky. We're not
I'm
into
just
desperate shit.
moving myself. Everything's fine.
Yeah, you do it. It's good.
Boom, and we get a gambit.
Yeah. This is when you get the gambit. So
keep racking them up. I've got a feeling I'm going to need them when
I detect like some kind of astral, like cloud or something or phenomenon. I think, I can probably do like a flyby there for a little bit. And
right, so you're hiding in a stellar phenomena.
Yeah.
Good. So Zenith, what is your plan of action after you have been left in your cell?
Okay, my plan of action is at first I'm just going to wait and observe and not actually do anything, because I'm assuming at some point I'll see like guards walking past, like doing their rounds. And what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to observe for long enough, so I think I've worked out sort of how long it takes for like a guard rotation. And then my eventual plan is when one of the guards is walking past, to base it, I'm going to observe the guards to like make sure that they've got like the key cards for the cells or whatever the equivalent is on them. I'm assuming they're armed, and then I'm going to do the whole like way mind trick on him to basically be like, let me out of the cell and you can leave your weapon behind.
Good. So the way that these cells operate, I think, is they're fairly small. The bare necessities, everything's plastic or steel. And the door is slightly opaque force field. So it's a kind of field where it's very visible, and if you touch it, it hurts you. So you actually cannot physically push through it, but if you touch it, it also like shocks you. And
now obviously I wasn't actually unconscious when they like dragged me in here. So presumably there was some like mechanism or something on the wall that they had to like boop to like lower the force field.
Yeah, they seem to have some kind of it's some kind of like a small stick control, which they can like use to like open the force fields.
Okay, because my sort of secondary backup plan will be is when I get in the cell is look around for anything that I could potentially use as like a melee weapon, whether that's my chains, whatever. And my secondary plan is if I can't get him to let me out, my plan will be to channel the way into that melee weapon and then use it to like cut through the bit of the wall that has the control panel in. And just like blow out the obviously I'm hoping not to have to do that, but I'm like I said, like backup plan in case like I can't get one of the security guys. Yeah,
I think in a pinch your chain could pass for like an improvised weapon. However, it's shit as a weapon.
So, literally, like saying, my plan is channel the way through it so I can use it to cut through like inanimate objects with like a hot knife through butter, and then sort of swing it at
butter.
Swing it at the bit of the wall that has the mechanism in and like short circuit the. But I'm hoping I can just like way mind trick one of the guards so I can avoid that.
Right, so we'll get to that. So there's a guard patrol, 2 guys. You've never seen less than 2 in these patrols. So they pass, and you see the sort of control stick on one of their belts.
Okay, well, handily my side dancing works on small groups. So what my plan will be to, because I presume they look in the cells to make sure the prisoners are in there. They're doing the rounds, they're checking.
Yep.
When they sort of come closer, I'm basically going to do the whole like lower the force field, leave your weapons behind, everything is normal, go about your rounds.
And you can definitely do that. Are you spending a gambit or are you spending stress?
I'm going to spend stress.
And for this, because it's very important, we're actually going to roll for something. And I think you have a thing in mind that you could roll for this.
Yeah, I was thinking I might go for skull catch. No, I'm going to go for a tune.
It's like accounting. Accounting is
Okay, so it's a tune. What position is it?
I think this is risky.
Okay.
It's risky.
Splendid.
And the effect is just you do it or not.
Yeah, it's
'Cause
standard. Yep. Okay, so I presume I can't take any, because I've already spent stress. I presume I can't take any additional stress to get a bonus dice. So obviously, normally I wouldn't make a roll, so I don't really know.
Yeah, I think that's good that you mention it, because I don't think it's super clearly laid out there, or else I've just missed it. But I believe that, and we'll play it that way because it's cooler.
Okay.
So when you push yourself, which you're doing because you're using your thing. So when you push yourself, because you're a mystic, you can use your way power and whatever else pushing does.
Oh, right,
So
okay, cool. So I've already effectively got the bonus dice.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
good.
So you can get the bonus die by default. When
It's
you
a
push.
6. Give us that gambit.
Yep. And you really, really use that last extra die, because otherwise it would have been 4. So that 6 is very valuable. Yeah. So you do it. You push your will on them through the way, and
my plan's going to be, because I've ticked for a heavier load, but I've not actually taken anything. Because my plan is, if it's all right with you, to then sort of go, all right, I'll take the blaster pistol and the second blaster pistol to represent the weapons I've got from there.
Yep. That is entirely fine. So you're basically backfilling your
basically,
load.
it's just a justification for why I've got what I've got, other than like, oh yeah, I just walked into the prison with this small armament like strapped to my body.
Yep. And it's not like you're not going to be. Yep.
Sorry, I don't know if this is possible. I didn't mean to mention this, but my plan would have also been to like ask them where the lieutenant is.
Yeah, that's entirely fine. So they the guard with they're wearing helmets with like they shield all their features, so it's like to project this faceless authority. And you push the way on them, and they look at each other, and the one with the control stick takes it, and it's like, he takes it and he opens the door, and then he's just like, and you take the thing, and he looks at his buddy and says, we should take this one to where the Legionnaire lieutenant is. And the other one is, yes, I think the lieutenant could use all the friends they could right now. And they share a laugh through the helmets speakers. And off you go. They escort you to the lieutenant's cell. And you see Liara. I actually have a picture.
And
so
my plan will be, when we get there, because I can spend like an additional stress for like additional details. Well, when we get there, I'll spend an extra stress to basically make them open her force field, and then take the little stick thing off them, and then like carry on your rounds, because they should forget what's happened because it clouds their memory. Yep,
that is entirely fine. So a couple of pictures, because I forgot earlier. So this is where we are. We're not in orbit of a planet, but it's a cool ass space station with downwards pointing Star Wars ass structures. And then we have in the cell, we have the lieutenant. Still in her legionary garb. It's sort of like a ceremonial thing, not really armor as such. Maybe a breastplate, but... Okay, so you see Liara in there, and you have them open the thing, and you have the stick. Liara looks at you quite suspiciously and sort of rises up from the bed, and you can see one of her hands is behind her back as she like quirks an eyebrow at you.
I'm basically going to take, like, as the guards are like, we will now go about our rounds, and they sort of walk.
Yeah, it's like let's go and have a cup of recaf. That sounds a great idea. They walk off.
I'm going to take one of the blaster pistols that I've got. I'm just going to like throw it to her and say, I'm here to get you out. Come with me if you want to live.
She doesn't even glance at the pistol. She's staring at you, and she asks, like lowering her voice, like, "Who sent you?"
The night speakers.
You can see just confusion wash over her face, and she leans down to pick up the blaster.
I say I can give you a fuller discussion. We can have a fuller discussion of this later, but for now, let's just get out of this place. I've got and I'll again lowering my voice. Like, I have a ship waiting nearby, but we need to get to an area where they can pick us up.
Yep. She takes the hand that was behind her back, and puts one of her medals back on, and you can see that she's sharpened the edges of the metal. So the metal is looking quite rough, but she's made a shiv out of it.
Now, just to check, would I know what, if any, relation my real life family would have to her legion?
I suppose you would.
I'm basically thinking of like showing her like my House Valorum tattoos, just to like hopefully set her at ease a bit. But obviously, if she's going to be like, House Valorum, the enemy of the legion, I'll keep it on the wraps.
No, that's entirely up to you. So please tell us what that's about.
Well, like I say, as you say, House Valorum, they're an old sort of imperial military family who have members sort of seeded throughout the hegemonic military. Like I said, mostly officers. They do have some people who are like sort of field commanders and stuff like that. But like I say, it's mostly like career military people. Pretty much it's expected in my family that when you come of age, you do like a period of training in the military. Then, assuming you're not completely inept, which if you are, you tend to die, the family sort of sees it as weeding out, like pruning the weaker branches. Once you've done like your sort of field service, you then get like a bought commission or something, and you get promoted like fast track. Whereas my character did his like service in the military and was like, nah, not for me, thanks. And he was sort of starting to develop like his sense of the way, and he was like, he knows his family weren't into all this old, outdated like religious nonsense. They're more sort of like boots on the ground, sort of military force style family. So he just, when there was an accident that blew up his troop transport, and he was like pretty much the only survivor, although he was injured, he like used, and all the bodies were like sort of like beyond recognition. He slipped away, knowing that they'd assume he died in the explosion, and because he wasn't like the most promising member of the family, he thought they'd probably just be like, good riddance to it, and they won't look into it too much. So he slipped away and reinvented himself as Zenith.
Yeah. So the Legion is probably quite okay with the family.
Yeah. So like I say, I'll just I'll pull up like my prison uniform like sleeve to show like their House Valorum military tattoos. So like quite nonchalantly, as though I'm just sort of like rolling my sleeves up, ready to like get going, but like doing it deliberately so you can see the tattoos.
She takes a bit to study you, and you can hear a distant bass note
Do I have any idea where that's coming from?
Yeah, it's coming from Liara, and
There's no need to use the way on me.
she is not going to reply, and instead she is going to use her thing, which isn't like she's not throwing you anywhere. She's not casting force lightning, away lightning. Sorry. She's reaching out, and she's doing the thing where you read someone else's thoughts and emotions.
Do you know, I'm not even going to resist that because presumably I recognise what she's trying to do. And if I do, I'm just because I want her to trust me and to come with me. I'm just going to effectively open my mind so she can read it. But I mentally I'm going to be thinking that I know what she's doing, so she'll hopefully pick up on the fact that I also have knowledge of the way and I'm aware what she's doing, and I'm not resisting it because I've got no reason to.
So if you're not putting a stop to it, she's really good at this. So she will basically do an index of you as a person, just go through the entire thing in a couple of seconds, and she nods, and then she says, "I didn't know that Valorum were in bed with the Night Speakers, but I suppose
they're not. Let's just say I'm the black sheep of the Valoran family, but we can discuss that later. We need to get moving. The next guard patrol will be around soon."
That's right. So, how much do you trust this rinky-dink pilot friend of yours? And at that we cut away to Viper, who is shocked by the scream of 1,000 voices.
Viper's actually while we've been sort of waiting for the moment, has been sort of checking the systems, making sure weapons are good to go, making sure there's nothing wrong with its ship, making sure there's
Just to be clear, Viper, you made it look like we'd left the system, and then we've sort of come back to as close as we can get without being in range of the station.
As far as I can tell, yeah. I mean,
how long is it going to take us from when Zenith gives us the okay to get back to the station, locate Zenith, and pick him up?
Put it like this: I hope you haven't had lunch. It's gonna get bumpy.
I'm not worried about the bumpy. I'm worried about, are we talking 2 minutes or 10 minutes or an hour?
Within an hour, definitely.
Well, yeah, but 2 minutes or 10 minutes?
5 minutes if we run into difficulty. Probably 2 minutes.
Great.
If we know exactly where he is.
Okay, fair enough.
I can do a strafing run and get him on the arc or the apex of my run, but that assumes that he.
And remember, we might be here for days before he's able to access her cell, and it might be weeks before they're able to get out of their cells.
We both know it's gonna be hot and heavy any second. He ain't gonna mess around.
I see us just sitting in the cockpit of the ship playing cards and waiting for Zenith.
Yep. Imperial Tarot.
I ain't messing around.
So
no doubt Viper's slotting me again.
I think since I'm assuming Viper kept me up to date with how far away they were planning to go. Literally, because it's going to take him some time to get back. As soon as we sort of get out of the cells and we start looking for ways to go, I'm going to send the signal, the prearranged signal for we're out of the cells, we're making our way to the outside, start heading back. So I think that'll be an appropriate moment where they're like, oh, it's going to get hot and heavy. It's like, boop, 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 boop.
All right, it's time for game faces. It's time for the button pressing montage. Like in those films where I just click, click, click.
Well, before any of that, you're playing your tarot.
Going to the limit.
And you're pushing to the limit.
Yeah, pushing it.
You're living on the Viper Blade's edge, and because you've been making sure all your instrumentation is ready to go and whatnot, your scanners start picking up hyperspace exit signals.
Oh god, here we go.
Just all the cards off the equipment.
Yep. So cards back in the box, looking at what's going on, and Viper, what you're watching is, by your estimation, pretty much the entire Raider fleet jumping out of hyperspace, very close to Isotope Maxicure.
Fuck yeah,
And
let's do it.
they're coming in
Hot,
hot,
right?
and you have a couple of guesses of what's going to happen next. Like, they're not here voluntarily, like turning themselves in.
I don't really have like a predisposed communication like signal for you're about to get fucked, Zenith. So I'm just gonna, like, as I'm getting to the pilot seat, booting up, I'm like on the communicator, Zenith, prepare for a Royal Rumble outside the station.
Obviously, because I can't like shout on the comm link.
There'll be a slight delay, obviously, in the transmission reaching.
I
And so,
presume
like,
we'll have like a sort of like a tap it like
Yeah.
once for yes, like twice for no or whatever. So I'm just gonna like tap it once for like, you know, like acknowledged. So they'll just say like the boop.
Mm-hmm.
we can use this, Mishi. We can use this as I'm powering up the systems. We can say we've detected this fleet arriving. We're coming in to assist. We have a legitimate reason to return. They don't even know it. We're coming in to pick up someone.
Finally, I don't need to skulk.
Do we have any allies in the Raider fleet? No, we fucked over the Raiders, didn't we?
Yep.
Fuck them hard.
Okay, yeah.
We covered them all in shit.
Yeah, it literally did.
Let's run as fast as we can back to the safety of that space station then.
So as you're powering up and getting your move on, you can see the defense emplacements of Isotope Maxicure powering up. They're already firing at the Raider fleet. The Raider fleet is firing back. Just dozens and dozens of all shapes and sizes of ships coming in. Smaller ones getting blasted out of the, I want to say sky, but there's no sky here. Just blasted into atoms, and they're going in for the kill. This is not like a finessed operation, Viper. It's they're walking towards this space station with grim determination to shiv it in the guts until it dies.
Yeah, it's a brute force approach.
Yeah, it's not a sneak attack.
I like to imagine there's all these explosions and ships firing and going off. Like, Viper, as he's piloting the ship, is laughing like Matthew was laughing.
Yeah, let's do it. No, this is perfect. It gives us a perfect reason to return to the station. This is our cover.
I see Mushishi in the co-pilot seat panicking.
Shishi, contact the station. Tell them we're coming to assist. Then they won't fire on us when we arrive.
Yeah, that's probably what I'll get onto as soon as I'm done
It's
screaming.
like I'm taking the weapons off tame to fun.
Set engines to funk.
I need a Space Groove soundtrack now for this.
Yes, set engines to disco.
Let's go.
I like to think he presses a button and he goes.
Right, my dice better not like shiv me now, because my two abilities, which I never get a chance to use, are all about space combat.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've got 3 gambits, mate.
So Mushishi, please give us a roll to convince Isotope Maxicure that you're not an enemy.
How about they get a bonus because they're getting shanked by raiders?
I believe I'm still wearing my medical garb and that I spoke to these guys earlier and I sold that guy some tobacco. And don't you remember me? It's terrifying. Let us back in.
Yeah, it's 2 fags, Mushishi. Yeah. I think that's probably an extra die for you. Oh, you got your 6 going on. Cool. So Yeah, you get the message to them, and for now at least, the station is kind of keeping track that you're a friendly. So Viper, what's up? Some of the bigger ones, haven't actually fired yet, like the bigger, like Raider
Big
cruisers.
ships. Yeah,
And when they do,
So-
that's going to be ugly.
it's going to be a problem.
That was a good question. Was that a risky roll I just did?
It is, in fact, yeah.
So that gets a gambit. Yeah? Quality.
Right. Right. So I can't just play around here. I've got to actually engage the Raider fleet to actually look like I'm helping. Okay. How close am I to engagement range? Like, am I able to?
Oh no, how are you going to cope with sticking it to the raiders? Oh no.
Yeah, you're free to go. You can perform a sneak attack because you were hidden in this space nebula.
Yeah. Yep. So I'm actually gonna go for one of the bigger ships. My aim is to knock out the power or the weapon system
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want Zenith to get squished by this mega cannon either.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It is. They are. You're doing at the moment zero effect. You're doing no effect because they have quality on you, they have potency on you, and they have scale on you.
Well, you may be incorrect about this, Johannes. Let me tell you
Mhm.
why.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you have potency. So
I have
that's
potency. I have potency
Yep.
from my ace pilot, which gives
Mhm.
me a bonus die. Oh, a bonus die to resist speed-related rolls, consequences of piloting. But I have potency on speed-related
Yep.
rolls. But I also have the keen eye skill,
Mhm.
which sharp eyes notice small details, and many might overlook in one dice when firing ship guns
Mhm.
or making trick shots. So I guess either.
Yeah,
could
but that's an extra die that doesn't affect the effect itself. So you started as standard. You went down because they are higher tier. You went down second time because they have more, and you tie for potency. So you're at 0. So if you can up your effect at all, you'll be doing something, which you can do by pushing yourself or taking a devil's bargain.
I'm going to push myself.
You're going to push it to the limit.
Push it to the limit.
Yep, to the tune of 2 stress.
Yep.
So you can increase your
Yep.
effect to limited.
Can I use a gambit as well?
Yeah, you can take an extra die from there.
Should I use that on the
Fauch.
effect? Maybe should I use that on the?
I will check. It might very well be so. Gambits.
Zenith better get out of that station soon, or things are going to get messy.
Can spend a gambit during an action to add a die. Okay, so you can add a die and not effect actually.
Okay. I'm still going to do it because I really need this to work.
Yeah, extra die is great.
So this is going to be a helm roll. Do I get a bonus for it being a sneak attack?
I'm going to say instead of desperate, it's going to be risky because you're coming from a nebula.
Yeah. Okay. Good. That's good. Limited effect? Did you say?
Can I assist at all in the co-pilot seat?
You can. So
I
one
have
stress.
also got the helm skill, so that
Yep.
cost me a stress, and then
Yeah, 1 extra die.
And the effect is limited. Did you say?
Yeah, the
Sorry?
effect is limited. Yep.
Okay, so I will have in total 3 bonus die. 1 for pushing it, 1 for the gambit, and 1 for the assist.
Let me check on that because I think it's either the effect or.
Oh, the pushing it was the effect, wasn't it? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm going to
Yeah.
check though because if you get both, then that's better for you. Pushing. Where do you? Oh, were you pushed? There we go.
To the limit.
Oh. Ooh. Right. So, if you're willing to spend another 2 stress, you can take another die.
Another 2 stress.
Yeah. If you spend 4, you can take the die and the effect, or
Yeah.
you could take a devil's bargain.
Oh, I'm going for the 4 die and effect. Let's do it. I'm risking.
Yep. You're going all in on this.
So that is 3 bonus die.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Oof.
Hmm?
All that and no 6.
Yeah, but still, it's 5.
It's 5.
So
But that is a gambit as well. No, it's not a gambit. 'Cause it's not a 6. Never
Yep.
mind. Got excited.
Just to check, when you roll in 2 dice, if you roll double 6 or double 1, you get an effect, right?
when you roll double 6s, you get a 1 stress back for making a critical thing.
If I just imagined a double 1 effect, that's just me, is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Fair enough. If
Yeah.
I'm rolling lots of dice, I don't have to get all 6s for that
No,
effect, do I?
no,
It's just 2.
no. Yeah.
Cool.
It's
Just checking.
Yep.
Cheers.
Okay, so here's the question then I have for you, Viper.
Mhm.
What do you do?
So, like, I've seen these raider ships. They're not that well put together. This is one of the better ones, to be fair. It's
Yep.
probably like a repurposed, like, Legionnaire ship. So I sort of have an idea of the layout. I know the gun batteries or charges them is sort of like there is like a weak undercarriage if you know exactly where to hit, kind of Star Wars style. You know, the weak point in the armor, because they use that to do replacements when they're like doing deep space like
Mhm.
maintenance. So I kind of like fly under and up, and as I'm banking up, I kind of fire off the guns in kind of like a strafing line and spin around and head off.
Mhm.
So
The
hopefully they won't
thing
hit me.
is, you do not have particle cannons. You have the license for them, but you do not have them. What you do have is grappling hooks. So I guess what's going to happen is you do a flyby of one of these emplacements, you fire the hooks into it, and you just tear it off
Yes,
after you.
I mean that's even more metal.
Yeah. Which
I just turned to Musishi. I'm breaking about 13 different health and safety rules in this.
yeah, as your ship just does like, I don't know what's a good number, like 8 G's all of a sudden. It's like okay, so you do that. There's a consequence, however, and it will be you will be put in a desperate position because you have just given yourself away by charging out of the nebula. You can resist this if you want to.
I'll
as always.
try.
With prowess, I think, then, because you're doing space dogfighting. So.
Yeah. Prowess.
Yeah. So the cost is 6 minus whatever you roll.
I think I actually get a bonus die in this because of my ace pilot. You get a 1 die bonus to resist piloting, consequence to piloting.
Yep.
So I get a bonus die. Yeah. Well, never mind. Never mind.
Damn!
That's for anyone watching or listening. That's a quadruple 1.
How much stress do I take?
5.
Okay. Oh, that's bad. My actual box is full after that. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
5,
So
6.
you get a trauma then.
No, it hasn't gone over. It's literally on the. Like,
No,
it's...
if you don't have any more, then it's a trauma.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes the limit pushes back.
Take it to the limit. Oh, the limit's hard. Okay, let's turn it back out a bit.
I've smacked into the limit.
My coccyx.
Yeah, I've gone 88 miles per hour to the limit.
Do you know what's frustrating, right?
Mhm.
That was the best. That was like the most dice I've ever had for resist and consequence.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep. Apparently, the way is not with you. So good. So
Thank God.
did you feel your thing? Like, is it your stress track?
It's full. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've gone from no stress to maximum stress.
Yeah.
Just literally a couple
in
of
one go.
What trauma are you taking, man?
Yeah. Empty your track and take 1 trauma and choose one of those wonderful descriptors.
Does that mean you're in the 2 trauma posse with me?
I believe so.
It's not a harm. It's a trauma.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yep.
I've not even got one yet. Come on.
Because you're not as reckless as us mofos.
I'm going to put in stable. That's oh dear.
All right, good. Good. That was great. But you did the thing. You harmed one of these cruiser ships, and also distracted them from attacking the station itself. So that's good
Now
for the
get
station.
us the fuck out of here, Viper.
Yeah.
I need to get Zenith first.
Get
I'm
us
doing-
to the station, get Zenith, and then us.
I'm traveling via like barrel rolling, just like spinning the ship.
Yep. So, Zenith, you're on a corridor, and you've been making your way out.
My plan is because I've got like the force field control
Mhm.
stick. My plan is literally so as we go past each cell, when we're a bit of a distance past, I'm going to be like, doot, and just like disabling as many force fields as I can. Because I'm hoping if like other prisoners are breaking out and rioting, we won't
Yep.
be like top of their agenda.
Yep, it's an almost immediate alert for your level. So 33 is getting an alert now, and you're making your way.
Yeah,
Yep.
so I'm planning on if because obviously I know sort of where I've been bought because I've been conscious the whole time.
Mhm.
My plan is to head back to where these guys bought me in because I know that's a landing bay.
Mhm.
My plan is that if we get there and they're not there, we can maybe like hijack a smaller ship, and I'm guessing
Yep.
the lieutenant probably knows how to fly a ship.
Yeah, that's an excellent plan. You make your way back, and I think as you take the elevator, right? Because it's the 33rd floor, so you go up from one of these spikes, and as you get to the sort of like upper level, I suppose like 0, because that's where you come in, right? So you go there, the doors open, and there's the
I'm going to
dry
be ready
ice.
if there's like a load of like hegemonic stormtroopers behind. I'm getting ready for the.
Yeah, there's no hegemonic stormtroopers there. However, there are Isotope Max Secure security personnel over there. However, they also have other visitors, and you
Angry
can
visitors.
recognize this individual right off the bat.
Oh, I know what it's going to be. Yeah.
It's Iram the Kind, a Stellarite Inquisitor. And as the dry ice smoke mist drifts off from the opening elevator doors, you can hear Iram the Kind discuss with the officer that you saw before, the one who processed you. The officer is discussing with Iram about the I suppose like taking into custody of the lieutenant by Iram the Kind, and they appear to just have completed their arrangement whereby Isotope Max Secure benefits from turning the lieutenant over to the Inquisitor. And so Iram shakes hands with the officer, and then the whole posse go like, "Yay!" Well, yeah, if you start shooting, that's the thing.
Yeah,
as well.
my plan is like originally I'll be like, oh, do you know what? Let's just mince around the sides, and then they might not see us. But as soon as he's like, oh yeah, we've just like arranged this underhanded deal, you know, like hand her over to us. I'm gonna be like, as soon as they see her, like the game is up. So may as well just like deal with him now. I'm just gonna like line up and with the blaster, and I'm hoping the lieutenant will follow my move. Because I'm presuming she's heard him being like, "Give us the lieutenant."
Yeah, and she's confused. She doesn't understand. Like she,
I'm just gonna like point my gun at him and then just say like, "They're the ones who arranged for your false imprisonment," and I'm gonna point my gun at him, hoping that she'll take the hint, and then
Yeah, I think she raises her gun as well and looks at you as you speak, and she's like,
Give her the
"What?" And then I guess it's you guys shooting at them. So yeah, please make a roll.
Let's get my
For-
scrap on.
Yeah. Let's get into a scrap with the Inquisitor and the security personnel.
Okay, I'm spending one of the gambits.
Mm-hmm. So the effect is going to be limited because they are a higher tier than you.
Okay, what's the position?
The position is going to be risky because you have the element of surprise.
Okay. Effect limited. Bonus dice 1. Boom, it's a 6.
Yep. So the effect is limited. So you're shooting, just to clarify, the Inquisitor here. Yep. So you wing the Inquisitor. He spins and goes down.
I'm hoping the lieutenant's going to get a zap in him as well.
Yeah.
Double
We'll see how.
blasters.
Give me a fortune roll to stimulate her.
Okay. Let me just
Get,
how many dice
dropping.
am I rolling for it?
Oh. Let's get the 1 die because that's what's left when you reduce the Inquisitor from her. No, I guess it's just the 1 die because they are very, very similar in.
It's a 3.
Ooh, she doesn't quite get. So she shoots one of these security guys, and the result there is you wing the Inquisitor. He's not dead yet, but you tagged him, and I suppose the lieutenant tries, she shoots with the blaster, but one of the security personnel has already moved a little bit, and they get plastered. Yep.
Quick question. Is this security guy holding... Has he got one of the stun batons or anything that qualifies a better melee weapon than the chains I've got?
The stun button would be with the officer. The other ones have blaster guns.
Okay, cool. No problems.
Yep. So the security guard dies, and as he does, the lights here as well, whoop, they go full on red, and there's an alarm, sort of PA announcement thing that starts blasting out of all the various.
I'm gonna focus and ignore that, and I'm looking around. Are there any nickable ships here?
Not here. You need to go out of the processing area into the landing pads. You're now in the sort of.
Okay, 'cause my plan at the minute is literally to grab the lieutenant and use the kinetics to boost myself through this area, double quick time.
Yep, that sounds doable. However, everyone's now figured out where you are, so please. And this is the thing. So they're shooting at you now. So if you want to resist that, you can.
Yeah, I very much like to, if you don't mind.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
I'm assuming that's a prowess roll of some kind.
Prowess would fit very well, yeah.
Okay, so no bonus dice. It's a 4.
Yep. So two stress.
Okay, your stress is getting a bit high now.
So the security guards see you. They start blasting after you, and then you are you spending a gambit?
Yeah, I'm literally going to grab hold of the lieutenant. She knows what the way is, so I'm just going to be hold on, and keep shooting. I'm going to tell her, and then I'm going to sort of way leap through the area to try and get us into the hangar bay as quickly as I can. And hopefully she can carry on blasting while we're going through the air.
So basically what's going to happen is you need to get through these different processing rooms that you were taken through, and then you'll be at the reception area, and then beyond that is a slight bridge, and then there's the landing areas beyond that. So you're blasting through these chambers of disinfectant and scanning areas and whatnot, and you're sort of carrying the lieutenant. She's shooting behind, and I think the way is mostly clear until you get to where the reception area is. There's no one there as far as people go, but it's going to be automated systems, which is a bit of a bummer. And I think the lieutenant points them out to you when you get there.
What sort of automated systems?
We're talking automated turrets opening from ceiling panels and then coming down to shoot.
Okay, well, again, I'm just going to try and use the kinetics to like move, because presumably they're built to track normal humans.
Yep.
You know? So
Yep.
Again, I'm sort of keeping hold of her. Or I'm probably going to like land briefly, then spring off again, probably using another gambit to do that.
Right.
With the hope that they can't track me as quickly if I'm like way boosting myself through.
Yep. And we'll see if that's true when you they're shooting at you once again. So I think what are you rolling to get across this like receiving area without getting tagged by these
I'd
turrets?
probably say, 'cause I'm using the way, probably resolve.
You can actually roll a thing as well, like an actual action thing.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, it'll probably still be attuned because I'm not physically trying to like run across. I'm literally just using the way.
So you're basically, if you get this off, you're almost going to be flying.
Yeah, I'm going to take some Mo stress. What sort of position is this?
I think this is desperate because the turrets are no shit.
Yeah.
Kill you, kind of.
Okay.
Pieces of hardware.
Bonus dice 1. It's only a 3.
Oof, that's rough rolls this time.
Here we go.
Yeah, I think it's a no shit harm 3 if the turrets tag you, which is if we look at the sheet we can know what that means. Let me open
very
up.
bad. Need help. Ooh.
Yeah, that would be if you get tagged, you will still have done this. Actually, no, you won't have done this. You jump forward with the way.
Shot out of the air.
You get shot out of the air and you will fall down on the ground.
Love it.
So
obviously, I'm going to resist.
Yeah. Yeah. So 6 minus whatever your highest.
Minus 5.
Yep. So 1.
I wish I'd got that, man.
So I think you're bounding as you go, with the way in your step, and you spin like there's like a corkscrew in the air as you just barely you can feel the blaster heat as it passes by your head.
So is that 1 harm I've taken or 1?
No, it's one stress.
Oh,
Is-
I've got 1 stress left.
Is he on open space?
No, now you're at the door. The lieutenant is slapping the release thing on the door to the outside areas, which is when you see there's a raider fleet that have just come in, and you can start to see the mega blasters firing on the space station.
I'm looking around for a small ship that can fit me and the lieutenant in.
Yep. Give me a roll to find that.
What sort of roll do you want?
Yeah, no, that's. What are you? Are you asking the universe? Are you looking with your?
To be honest, the lieutenant knows more about ships than me, so I'm basically as I'm sort of looking back and putting firing a few shots back in and whatever, glancing over and seeing the raiders. I'm gonna be like, Lieutenant, find us a ship. We need to get out of here.
Yep. I'm gonna see how she does. Okay, so that's a 4. And she does find this. I think it's got to be some kind of maintenance,
That'll do.
sanitation vehicle, like a fucking shit tank disposal
if
vehicle.
It can fly through space.
Yeah. So you can get that, and you will be in a desperate position going out. And
love it.
You're flying this small toxic tanker through a hail of different kinds of violence raining from the raider fleet onto Isotope and Max Secure, and you can see Zenith watching out of one of the viewing consoles. They're also landing people on the station, so there's these boarding vehicles which just slam into the thing and then just corkscrew into through the outer plates.
In the back of my mind, I'm thinking if we can survive this is probably good because we're not probably going to be their top priority when they're be 2 prisoners have escaped. Oh yeah, and by the way, a huge raider fleet launch boarding assaults on the so it might
also,
do well for
also they'll assume that you left with the raiders.
Yeah, or we got
not
killed
with
in
us.
battle or whatever. But yeah, basically, as the lieutenant's like flying us out in this like
Mhm.
shitty like maintenance ship, I'm gonna quickly like get on whatever comms it's got using like the frequency that I've got in my internal comms. I'm gonna broadcast like a narrowband message to the Cerberus, basically with like our ship's ID on and like a location, and basically saying like and like some version of like you know the old telegrams where it's like a few words and it's like stop. I'll be like position this, stop, ship ID this, stop. Ship is terrible. Stop. Require pickup. Stop. Urgent. Stop.
So Viper, on your HUD, you
Yeah,
can see this like SMS come in,
Yeah.
and you're like, "The shit is this?" and then you're distracted because there's a sort of the sort of high pitch, as we know from some piece of media that we are legally distinct from. The big lasers have this like screeching noise.
Oh man, I thought I knocked them out for a little bit.
Yeah, but there's more. there's other ships which are now starting with the actual like ordnance. Yeah, and you're momentarily blinded by one of these bolts passing by, and you swerve to avoid it. What do? You have received this text message from what looks to be a fecal tanker of some obsolete model.
Yeah,
Can I fit that on board the ship?
we're in the poo truck.
I don't think so. No, this isn't that kind of thing. You can fit people on board, but not other ships.
All
We're
right,
going to have to dock with it.
in the middle of a space battle. I'm like, thanks, swinging.
Embrace your recklessness, Viper.
Well-
Have they got spacesuits on board?
I've got one in my ring.
You know what? That was a good idea.
That fucking
Fucking got one up your ring.
My basic thought, to be honest, is if Viper can come in and sort of provide us with cover, we can both fly away to somewhere that's safer and then dock.
Yeah, but you're like going at the speed of a doddering old fool. And this is
grapple
like,
us.
I might turn you
Pulling.
into more.
Either that, or we're gonna have to fly like that, open the docking things really quickly, and I'm gonna have to like way boost us like through open space. Hopefully through the space of about a second into your ship.
All right.
Like Carrie Fisher.
We're gonna lay at this.
All right. Okay. I'm just gonna message him back as I'm coming in. Hold on to your butts. I'm gonna grapple him and tow him out. This may.
Okay, yeah,
I'll
give us a
tell,
roll.
I'll tell the lieutenant what's going on as I'm like doing this.
Yeah.
I'll say if this crate's got any weapons, Lieutenant, I don't care if it's a steam of hot effluence firing at anyone apart from this ship
Yeah,
that gets near.
she's like trying to like wring out everything that this poor little space truck has to give, and she yells over her shoulder, like desperately trying to make the thing
Can
go
you do it,
faster.
Captain?
No, don't have enough power. No, she says like the only weapons on board are biological in nature. They don't help.
I understand. They should be here soon.
Yeah. All right. So Viper, please give us a roll for your plan to extricate yourself from. And I think this is going to be a whole thing. This is going to be an actual clock for us because you have some distance to cover, and it's not. Let's say that this is difficult terrain.
Yeah. I understand that this is not like a. There's a lot of moving parts right now.
Yeah. So this is going to be like when you guys get this filled, it's going to be.
Imagine the intro to like Stargate. I am threading the needle through that tunnel as fast as I can. It's going to be a hell
Just think
roll.
if we pull it off, Viper, just think of the swagger we'll have next time we go into the casino.
I'm going to guess I do get my my bonus die for firing the ship guns because I am firing the grapple hooks to get him.
Yeah, I mean, you're just to clarify. So, well, yeah, I guess we could do that. So, I have included an 8-segment clock called "Rescue the Lieutenant." which the name doesn't really matter because it's just, can you guys get away? I suppose I'll rename it Escape. The Great Escape, as it was.
Yep.
And when you fill it, you will have escaped your current circumstances. Until then, you will be hounded by, well, I suppose everything, really, that's currently on board. So, yeah, you want to fly in and use your grappling hooks to get the poop truck?
Get the ship. Get it.
Yep. Please give us a roll.
If necessary, by the way, because obviously I'm like peering out of whatever portholes we've got. If it looks like the grappling hooks are going to miss, I'll be like,
Yep.
Is this a desperate roll by any chance?
Yes. I don't think there's anything but desperation in your future.
Okay. Standard effect or limited in this case?
I think unless something changes, it's going to be limited and desperate. Like, depending on what you do. But that's sort of the baseline, because we're in the middle of a fleet of raiders trying to destroy everything, including you.
I'm going to take 2 stress because my buddy's in there, and I want to get him out of here. So that's going to increase the effect to standard.
Good. That will fill in 2 segments. So limited will fill in 1, standard 2, great 3.
Yeah.
So you will be filling in 2 if you succeed.
Yeah. I get the bonus die from firing the ship guns. Is there any gambits left?
There's 1 left.
I'm going to use it because I need to get you to get you out of here. If that's okay. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, presumably everyone's okay with getting away.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yep. So you do it. So there's 2 segments, and let me try and actually put them on there. There we go. So the Great Escape, 2 down, 6 to go. However, your highest was 5, and please mark your XP for the desperate roll. So your highest was 5, which means that there's a consequence, and that is heat. That is heat, because you came in from the nebula, you tore off one of their hyper laser turrets, or emplacements, and you're flying away with extremely cool maneuvers. So I think on board we see who's your clone brother that's on board. What's their name?
Did we actually give him a name?
I don't know that we did.
I don't know if we did actually name.
Oh, please say he's named after a different type of snake.
Mamba.
My clone brother, Mamba. Oh, it's got to be called Mamba.
It's got to be Mamba now. Yeah, he's done it.
Yeah,
he's the 5th clone.
Yeah.
So Mamba is on board, and just watching you do the barrel roll through the blaster fire, and
he's like, son of a bitch.
He's just looking at it, and he's saying to like an adjunct, it's like, that's beautiful. That's almost as if it was me flying. Oh well.
It's me in the cockpit, like laughing my tits off.
Yeah, and Mamba is like, oh well. Concentrate fire on them. And
Jenneth has the way. I've got speed.
Yep. So Mamba is coming after you now. You're getting. Let's because it's right. So we're gonna put down 3 heat. Oh, that will put you over. I didn't realize it. So we're in the Breck system, and you will go 2 over your heat. So you will get 1 wanted level in Breck.
I mean, this is a prison break. It's kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of it's a hazard, and yeah. So that's a consequence, and also Mamba with the flagship cruiser is going to come after you specifically because you exhibited incredible maneuvers.
It's like 1 grain of sand somehow flying through a tornado.
Yeah, but he's as you do. He has a keen eye. So Zenith, I think there's probably a roll of some kind involved when the next bit goes off, because you are now grappled. So Viper flies the Cerberus in, puts the claws on your ship. What's next? What do you do?
Okay, I've got two possible things that I might do, obviously depending on how this is breaking down. So I'll tell you them both and feel free to tell me which is applicable. My first thought is, when this ship gets close to us, if there's any small enough bit of it that would inconvenience them, that I can effectively rip off using my kinetics from their ship. That's one possibility. The other possibility is, if there's any like little bits on our ship that we can lose without and still be able to breathe inside, I may detach them with kinetics and like hurl them at their ship.
Right, at this cruiser?
Yeah. But
okay.
basically my thoughts were like, if there's like, and I know it's probably quite big, but like if there's like any like smaller sort of I don't know, like view screens or whatever that could rip out, so they'd have to like spend time dealing with like a hull breach or whatever. I'm not thinking I'm going to destroy them or anything, just to basically like slow them down and give them something other than us to concentrate on.
Yeah. I mean, both sound good.
Or if there's any bits of space debris, I can like hurl at them, like at their sort of like viewports or whatever. Just anything to distract them.
I think you could probably like grab a missile and like a torpedo and just like turn it around.
Yeah, if there's like a missile going through the air.
Yeah, definitely. And so you can spend your stress.
I will do. I should warn you that I'm now vicious.
Your time in prison has changed you.
Can't you
so
one,
I came
one
out a
away?
different man. Yes, I'm one away. You're absolutely right, Viper.
You're one away from retirement.
To the
So
dark side.
yeah. So please give us a roll for actually hitting with the torpedo.
Okay. What's the position? I'm assuming it's desperate.
Yeah, everything's desperate now.
Yeah, I thought that might be the case. Boom, 2 6s.
Yeah. So you recover one stress. However, that doesn't. Yeah, because you're good.
That would have been great a second ago.
Yeah.
It was not meant to be.
Yeah, good. So
And like I say, I'm going to try and aim the missile for where I think, like, whatever the equivalent of the cockpit or the command deck will be.
Yeah. So, and I forgot to mention there, because everything is desperate and limited now, in the midst of like dealing with this raider fleet now. So, there's going to be one addition. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. No. Misclicking my way to hell. There we go. And this one was 2. Good. So, yeah, you turn around one of the torpedoes, you send it back. It smashes into the side of this cruiser, and there's a blast of debris and chunks of the ship's internal structure and people as well, just blasting into space as it decompresses. Good. And now, Viper, you have the ship. And also Mushishi, if you want to do anything on board, please let me know. What's next on the menu?
Okay.
You're still in the middle of what looks to be the raiders going in, doing something on board the jail station, and also disintegrating it. So you're right there in between the station and the fleet.
Okay. Right, okay.
And now you're hauling this poop tanker with you.
Yeah.
So question, right? Station here.
Yep.
Fleet coming in here. What's over here?
The star.
And I mean, I'm assuming it's not
Deep
so
space.
close to the star that we can't like go around the star.
You could go around the star. However, the station is very close to the star. It's not impossible, but there's additional shit
Fair play.
in there.
Barrier. Just checking.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Have I noticed this cruise is coming for me?
Oh yeah, you know
Okay.
that you've been dodging their like tracking lasers a while now.
Right. So.
And I've just thrown a missile at him, which probably,
Yeah.
as
So
an India, does to him.
I'm gonna. Okay. So this is like. The movement's abstract here, right? So I'm trying to complete the clock, right?
Yeah.
So-
What do you do to shake off
I'm gonna do
the
something.
raiders?
I know I can't go for max speed because if I do, I might turn Zenith and our asset to munch. Ricocheting around in that ship. So I need chance to get them on board. So I'm actually gonna like do what they don't expect me to do. I'm gonna sort of do like a loop to loop into the mixture of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I'm doing this, right, is
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right that big thing's gonna fire on me, right? So I need to create some cover, right?
Mhm.
Shield's only gonna do so much. So my plan is to loop to loop. Now on my equipment list, this is stretching a bit, but
Mm-hmm.
I've got some spy gear, and I'm going to interpret this spy gear in like spoof targeting sensors being thrown out of the ship. So when they try to like lock on and fire, like these actually mess up with the targeting, and it starts creating like chaos when they start hitting all the other ships, and they're actually coming for me.
Okay, so you're basically launching a bunch of like countermeasures.
Like sort of
essentially.
ghost sensor images.
Yeah.
So.
Using the actual battle as cover as I try and like
Yeah.
throw them off for a second and then head for
Yeah.
the nebula.
Yeah, that sounds like some desperate no effect horse shit, which you can improve at your leisure.
I'm gonna have to. Yeah, okay. Spy gear I'm taking as my use.
Yep.
Okay, so this is gonna obviously be a helm roll. I don't know if I get my speed potency. I suppose I would, but then I'm not going full speed, am I? I've already said that. Yep. Does it count as a trick shot?
What does it say in the
So it
speed
says you
thing?
have potency in all speed related rolls.
I think this is still good. You don't need to go like full on.
Yeah, you're
Full
still
speed
trying to
ahead.
lose them using your speed.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's
Yep.
desperate at the moment.
Yeah, it's desperate, and that's not going to change.
Right, so I can lock that
However, your effect, I think. Well, yeah, your effect is still 0. However, if you raise it by anything, you'll be up to limited. Because they have everything on you at the moment, except you have potency. So potency bit is good. Like you've got that. But they still have enough to reduce you down to nothing. Unless you can raise it by 1, which you can. By a devil's bargain or a stress. Push yourself.
I'm gonna push myself
Mm-hmm.
to the limit. That gets me to limited.
Yep. So 1 segment.
If Mashishi could assist me on the sensors, like on the actual comms,
Yeah.
like on, that might give me another. That might boost me up a little bit.
Yeah, it gives you a die.
That cost me 1 stress, yeah.
It does. Yep.
Go for
This is more like the coverage of the spook signals, like.
Yeah. And also like letting you know where things are.
Yeah. So that just gives me an extra die. It doesn't give me a better effect.
No more effect.
Okay. Right. Okay. Here we go. So I've got a bonus die of 1, unless I get my trick shot. No, I don't know.
I don't think you're shooting now.
No.
You're literally trying to spoof them and fly. Fancy. Yep. You do it. You insane bastard.
And you get to knock a stress off because you got a 6, mate.
No,
What?
it's 2 6s.
2 6s
Oh,
for that.
my
Yep.
apologies.
Yeah, the critical.
I do get an XP though.
Yeah, you do.
Sorry,
you do.
that's what I was thinking of. My
This
apologies.
is an XP rich environment.
Yeah, it is because everything you're doing is kind of risking like a hyper laser blast.
And I'm just shouting down the communicator, just like brace yourselves, Zenith. I'm just like,
Yeah, you're getting tossed around.
Do some serious like flipping.
You just get like the one tap for like acknowledged.
I think, yeah, it's an especially rough ride because it's not like they're not arms, right? They're literally hook on a wire.
Yeah,
So-
I've retracted the wire, so he's like nestled a bit under the ship, so he's getting some cover.
I'm hoping as well that, like, obviously, because the lieutenant knows what's going on, she's trying to sort of go with it and minimize it. But yeah, we're probably getting thrown around like
yeah,
ragdolls.
yeah, yeah. It's basically what the lieutenant is trying to do is keep you away from the the Cerberus, so that you don't like constantly like plow into it and like send
Okay,
Viper off on a different track.
While that's going on,
Mhm.
'cause obviously I'm not actually doing much in the garbage scout,
Yeah.
to be honest. I'm just sort of like looking out through the portholes.
Yeah.
I'm not really expecting there to be anything like useful in here, but I'm gonna have a quick look around, just very quickly, like inventory, like what's in this garbage scout.
Anything in particular you're looking for?
I can't think of anything in particular at the moment. I'm assuming there's like no spacesuits in here because it's a garbage scout.
Well, that sounds like a thing you could roll for.
Yeah.
To
it's like a
Could-
fortune roll. or
That could be
something.
a fortune roll. I think.
yeah, I think fortune roll.
It's not really a skill that I'm using.
Yeah,
is it?
no,
It's just whether it's there or-
yeah. It's just a fortune roll.
So 1 dice fortune roll.
Yeah.
No, there's no
Oof.
spacesuits.
No, there's negative suits. Yeah, your own
No.
suits are sucked
There's
out.
an IOU noticing
No,
IOU one suit.
he picks up one and there's a massive just hole in it. It's just like completely unworkable.
Okay, so what I want to try and do is, this is a garbage scout, like a poo truck, basically. So I'm assuming it like has like a tank that
Yes.
contains the poop.
Yeah, the septic tank.
Yeah, basically what I want to do is my next action is probably going to be detaching that using the way, with the aim of like hurling it at the advancing ship. I know it's not going to do them any damage, but I'm hoping if the front of their ship gets splattered with a load of 0G poo, it might cause them some problems.
Yeah,
Even
that
if they
sounds
just
great.
like, have to put their windscreen wipers on.
Yeah,
If you let it hit the cold of space first, it's basically going to
Well,
be
yeah,
an
but-
asteroid.
But it's going to have to go through the
'Cause
cold
it'll-
of space to get to
Yeah,
it,
it'll
isn't it?
freeze in the time it'll get there.
Yeah, so I'm going to... in the style of like what we did to the Raiders previously, only this time, it's cold poop.
poop steroid.
That's it. A poopsicle. So yeah, so I'm just going to be concentrating and like...
Yeah,
I'm going to examine like where I think I can safely detach it. And I'm like,
the are you spending stress?
yeah,
for
we've got,
your
we've got
kinetics.
gambits, I'm going to have to.
Yep. All right, give us a roll to toss the poopsicle at the Raider cruiser, because that's the world we live in.
Yeah. Boom, it's a 6.
We're
Yep.
almost there.
Yeah, and it is indeed
Of
limited.
course, it's a fucking.
The way is with me.
Yep. You blast them with frozen toxic waste, and
You might say I'm a toxic Avenger.
oh no, now we're going surfing apparently. Right, so you blast them with the tanker. There's frozen excrement and various.
I'm
Yep.
hoping there's like a sort of secondary effect of that. Effectively, our ship will be like less of a lump because there's less of it. So
Oh, yeah.
I may be hoping that'll allow Viper to like be a bit more manoeuvrable and whatever, because he's not going to be like, oh, I've got this massive like tanker full of poo behind me. Now he's only got like the little sort of scow that was attached to the bottom of it.
Yep. And that's sort of that's kind of what the segment represents. Is like you're closer to getting away because of them being you're a smaller target and they are trying to deal with the structural damage of space poopsicles.
And because I'm vicious now, I'm basically just going to sort of aim it to try and like pile drive it through the hull. I'm not expecting it to really do much damage.
Yeah.
It's a limited effect and yada yada yada. But that will be my intent. Sort of like aim it for what I think would be like a vulnerable part of the ship and just like try and pile drive it in through the hull.
Yeah, the tornado hole, right? The
exactly,
same
yeah.
thing. Cool. So you're doing that. Mushishi and Viper, what's up in the actual ship?
I'm having the time of my life.
Yeah, it's just like straight screaming all the way through.
It's not that bad. It's not that bad. I've been in worst engagements.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, Viper. What's the plan? You are gaining a bit of distance, like away from the cruiser. However, that doesn't really set your mind at ease because that just puts you more into the range of hyper lasers.
Yeah.
So it's a like,
I'm heading all haste for the nebula.
Yep.
Because I need to get them off that little dinky ship into this before I jump.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to get somewhere where I can do that.
Right.
And it's the
Okay.
best
So
shot.
you're trying to blast away as quickly as you can, probably. Cool. Give us a roll for
Okay.
trying to get away from the basically
Okay.
the war zone.
This is
Because
desperate
that's what
again.
it is. Yeah. Yeah.
Is this
It's
still
all
limited
desperate,
effect?
baby.
Is this still 0 effect? Or am I?
What's changed? You have potency for the fact that
Speed.
you're a good pilot. They have
God
the
damn, I'm
scale,
shit.
and you're still a 0, man. It's not great.
Okay. Well.
Basically, this is you. You're in a nest of ants, and you're trying to not be around ants.
So I've spent 2 stress to push it because I'm close. I just need to get the nebula, get them on board, and I'm
Think of
done.
it less as you're pushing yourself and more like you're heading towards joining me in Team 3
Yeah,
Trauma.
Team 3 Trauma, yeah. I'm getting so close, John. It's having such a good day. I'm open to a Devil's Gambit as well. Have we got any gambits left, actually? We've got any gambits?
We haven't had gambits
No.
for a while. The luck
No.
has run out.
None of the situations are risky. They're all desperate.
Yeah, because we're in the shit now. So a devil's bargain would be the devil's bargain that I have for you for an extra die is when I say they, it's the Mamba. So they will have scanned all your asses, and they will have your number. They will know who's on board, what the ship is, who you guys are, and they will act on that.
Is that regardless if I fail or succeed?
Yes, that happens anyway.
Yeah, it's just for accepting the devil's bargain.
Does anyone else have a problem with that?
And by that I mean they're just gonna we're just gonna go ahead and take a look at the heat track here.
Yeah, it basically means they're coming for us in the future.
Yeah. They will. You will. The raiders will. You will lose status with the raiders, and they will add heat onto your tracker as a result.
I might suggest as well that maybe like Mashishi takes some stress to give you a bonus dice on the co-pilot.
Mashishi might be all out.
I can take one more before I become traumatized by this permanently.
Okay.
One trauma, you don't know you're born.
So I'm still at limited, but I get 2 extra die. Is that correct?
Are you taking the devil's bargain?
Yes. If everyone else is fine with it, because obviously it affects them too. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just trying to find the
potential future hijinks being pursued by raiders and your clone brother. Yeah, of course we're fine with it.
Yeah, it's good full Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, so I'm putting the raiders down to -2, and they're gonna put 3 heat on you.
I mean,
because they're putting out the fucking bounties now.
We have dumped shit on them twice now.
Yep. Yeah, because that's kind of a because now they know.
Have
these guys
dumped shit on them
twice.
Twice. Like they're just going to be calling like, why are you shitting on us? Like literally.
I like to imagine stood on the poop deck of that ship. It's the same guy who got showered in it on the explosion. And he's like, no. So the poopsicle comes.
Yeah, he's traumatized as well.
So can I use one of those dice to increase the effect, or is it just stay limited in this case?
You can push yourself to increase the effect, and you can push yourself again to get an extra die, and you will have an extra die from the Devil's Gambit. However, you can actually Devil's Gambit, Devil's Bargain. However, the Devil's Bargain is pushing yourself. So you could, if you wanted to, push yourself 2 stress for 1 die, and the Devil's Bargain will increase the effect to limited.
Yeah, to limited. Yeah, cool. So that's a bonus of 2 dice.
Yeah, 1 from
Okay.
Mushishi as well.
Yeah. Okay, let's do this. Ooh, it's moving.
So it's a 5, man. It's better than
Yeah.
that quadruple 1.
that was a roll.
That was it.
Okay, so we're doing it. So we add the tick. So you made it to the nebula. You're not out of the frying pan yet.
No.
And the consequence of your thing here is the Mamba is going to score a hit on you with one of the hyper lasers, and it's going to be 3 damage
But it's on the ship though.
on the ship. Yes.
Because I'd just go like that if it was.
Yeah, you would. We wouldn't be talking about damage.
I don't think. How do you? Are you mark it on the ship, John? Or do you want me to? I'm not sure. Like.
So the
I
ship.
can do
This
it,
is the
I'm not
first
sure
time.
how we-
This is the first time we've done this. So the way that ships work is, there's stuff that you have on your ship, which is marked by the various pips you have for different kinds of subsystems. So basically, you can take damage onto. I'm looking at what you have here. So you can take damage to your comms, your engine, and weapons. So if you wanted to, there's 3 damage incoming. You could tick off both of your comms and your engines, and then you would have no comms and no engines.
We pretty much need the engines, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Engines are quite important.
But you have the shields, which we bought last time.
Yep.
Shields
So-
are definitely something I think we should engage.
And you can resist this consequence as well. Obviously,
They
you
can
can always
Max,
resist.
You make a roll to resist, man.
Wait. does the resistance roll go on me though, on the ship?
You're resisting the thing. You're trying to swerve away from the hyper laser blast.
Yeah, but
Okay.
it'd be based on your whatever your piloting.
Yeah.
activities.
Okay, I'll try.
I believe
Okay.
in you, Viper.
Okay,
So
so the cost is 6 minus whatever you roll for your prowess. It sounds like.
Okay, so is it risky for resistance?
No, this is just you roll your prowess.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I clicked the wrong
Yep.
thing there. Yeah. And I get a bonus die from the pilot thing. Yeah, this is not piloting game. Was this?
Damn it.
Huh! Oh my god, that's like the opposite.
Triple sixes.
Do I get
You
gambits
can
for that?
remove.
You
You
the
can
man,
remove.
Viper.
Yeah, you can remove 1 stress. Yeah. So Zenith and the lieutenant, I think you guys are fairly sure that it's good night, sweet prince.
Do you know
because-
how? I was
yeah.
going to say, do you know how I actually do it? I was
Mhm.
going to say, like, as I'm in the nebula, I'm just getting the perimeter, and I'm like, oh, nearly there. And as I'm flying, I can sort of sense that the nebula itself's reacting to the beam about to come out. There's like almost like a light or something being
Like a
emitted, a radiation.
refraction.
Yeah, and it's like the actual nebula is like having a slight kind of color change on. It's like I suddenly know I'm about to get hit, and I just kind of pivot like at the last second.
Mm-hmm. And I think, we everyone's tossed on their face on the ceiling, I guess, because you're.
I think as me and the lieutenant are picking ourselves up, I'm just going to look at her and I'll say, "Not bad for a rinky-dink pilot, eh?"
No, it's he's very capable. It's almost like he's been through
I
the
think you say
Legion
it better to
training
be
programs.
on the comments, because I am now crazy.
Yep. Good. So you make it there.
I'm fine, Rishishi. I don't need any drugs. Fine.
You are in the nebula. However, they are still on your tail. You
Yeah.
have some cover now. What do you do?
Can I try and if it's like asteroids or like small space debris, can I try and move some of the debris to like sort of provide extra cover to us?
Oh yeah, for sure. So I presume 2 stress.
It's been nice serving with you, Viper.
Yep, and this, you don't need to roll for this because you're literally just like putting the rocks here. So what you're doing is you're placing like ablative armor.
Yeah, basically.
It's like,
I want to get as much space debris between their laser blasts and us.
yeah,
I've probably
it's
got
like-
like beads of sweat coming down my forehead. So I'm like,
Yep. Yep. All right, so I think that can be one tick because it's not really opposed in any way. You can just have that, and I think the last tick is like, how do you get out of here? And also, are you gonna take the lieutenant and Zenith from the poop truck onto the Cerberus? And if so, how does that happen? And I think that might be the role.
I'm assuming, and obviously feel free to, because you're the one piloting Viper, so feel free to correct me if you don't want to do it like this. I'm assuming we're basically going to, if like the hatch is on the bottom of ours and on the top of the other one, basically get the ships like that, sort of open both the airlocks, jump through, quickly like seal the airlock. He can like hit the thing that like detaches the grappling hooks and then like boost away, and we'll just leave the poop truck there. If I've got time to like grab some of my equipment out of the Cerberus as we're like jumping in, I'm gonna like drop a detonator down into the poop truck, and then as we fly off, so hopefully as they're going like across it, the poop truck will blow up, and we can like surf out of the like poopy explosion.
Yeah. Okay, so what are we rolling? I think it sounds like the important bit here is actually getting the dock to work so that you can get from one ship to another.
I think that's probably going to be pilot for Viper again, because he's going to have to like line them all up and everything. We can't do anything in the garbage scale.
Right, Viper.
I'm gonna get Mushishi next to the dog, and I'm ready to get him in. And so I'm like multitasking. I'm maneuvering. I'm flipping. Like I disconnect the actual grapple, flip the ship over, like move slightly away, then flip the ship over, come back in, like all within the space of like 10 seconds.
I'll on the communicator, I'm gonna, as this is going on, so I presume that we've like radioed across to each other, I'm gonna basically tell like Mushishi to like grab one of my detonators out like my kit cupboard on board the Cerberus, so that literally as soon as I get on board, you can hand that to me. I can cob it through the airlock, seal the airlock, and we can fly off.
But at the same time, I'm spooling up the jump drives, like I'm getting ready to go.
Sounds good.
So okay.
This isn't you going fast, by the way.
No,
You're literally stationary.
No, I know that. I know. So it's still risky, is this, or is this going to be still desperate?
It's desperate yet again, because the threat here is being atomized by the one of Cruiser's blast. So
I still at 0 effect, or
yeah,
they don't know where we are. Just have it.
They do know where you are. They just don't know exactly where you are.
Okay.
I think you'll be at limited to start with. Yeah.
Start with. Okay.
So you will fill in the last bit if you succeed.
Okay.
I believe in you, Viper.
All right. So I can take 2 stress to make the effect standard, can't I?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna.
You don't need to though, because you will have filled in the thing, and then you will get away.
All right. Okay. Right.
That's the thing with the clock.
You know what? I'm just gonna go from it. I'm just gonna go for it as what I've got. I'm just gonna. This is like the last.
Fuck it. Let's do it live.
Let's do it.
We shouldn't have done it live.
I'm running out of resource.
So here is the thing, guys, and this is for you to consider now. There's 2 ways we can take this campaign now. One of them is whatever I say, you can always resist, right? Because that's just how the game goes. So you can do that, and you will have another opportunity to run away because you will not have gotten what you wanted, but you can still resist the consequence. Now, if you resist the consequence, you will then have to we will make another roll for you to basically make it to the jump gate and get the fuck out of here. And that's going to be a different thing. However, if you don't resist the consequence, which is going to be they cripple the Cerberus and they fucking come and get you, and we'll cut away from this session with you guys being hauled in by the raiders, and then we will have a different kind of campaign next time we play.
I'd resist.
I'm gonna resist.
I just want to highlight that this latter option is not the campaign ending. It's just going to be
Different.
a different flavor when the raiders take you. But yeah, basically the idea is they're just shooting because they know you're in there, but they're shooting because they have all the batteries in the existence, so they just like spray and pray, and they do hit.
Right. Okay.
John, you were going to say something?
No, I'm good.
Yep. So you're going to get hit with one of these massive like hyper lasers, and it will fry the ship. However, you can resist that to a degree. Now, this isn't a complete thing. There's degrees of resistance which we haven't gotten into, but this is, I think, one of those because you just fucked it, and it's a desperate roll. So this is basically you're staring down the destruction of your ship, but if you resist, you can get it down to it's going to fry at least your shields, and then probably like one thing, basically 3 damage.
Right.
If
so
you resist.
I'm going to resist it. I'm going to say that I sort of, as I'm about to dock, that I see the shot coming in, and I have to move.
Mm-hmm.
I get clipped anyway because I'm trying to do so much, right? So I guess it's prowess.
Prowess sounds good. Yep. 6 minus whatever you roll.
Do I still get my bonus die on my ace pilot?
What does it say?
It just says you when you roll resist consequences of pilot, you gain 1 plus die. Well,
that's a piloting. Yeah, that's piloting. Sure.
Yeah.
So 1 stress. And you pivot, but you were docking, so it's slow. It's almost glacially slow as you just in slow motion watch the hyperblast come in, and it hits your shields. The shields just melt like ice, and then it goes into the hull, and there's a chorus of alarms that goes off as it shears off.
It's just like a station we've never used, and the Cerberus just goes.
Yeah, it's like shower of sparks from the side. So that would be you guys using your shields. That's 2 damage, and then where do you put the 1 damage? Your options being comms, engines, weapons.
I think possibly weapons.
Yeah, I think I would agree. Weapons.
Yep. Okay, cool.
In this case, we don't need to shoot. We need to move.
So, John, if you're looking at the sheet, you can put the thing under the like 1 pip in weapons. You can, yep, that's right. So your weapons are fried, and you're free to. You've ducked now. They're scrambling up the like short docking pipe, and you're detaching from this poop truck. You know that one of the better options would be to get to the jump gate before they shoot you again.
Yeah, as soon as I know they're clear, I'm moving.
Yep.
Just in case this all goes like tits up again, I'm going to start getting into one of like the space suits on the Cerberus.
Yep. Okay, Viper. Perhaps the last roll in this
comes down to me.
Yep. I presume it's going to be helming.
Is there any chance, John, you've got any wear powers that are good at this situation?
Well, he could have a spoon with potence.
I don't believe so. Let me just check.
Okay. Because I'm gonna. Oh, I still get the XP, don't I, from that fumbling.
Yep.
I'm raking in the XP with these.
Well, I haven't got anything that help you with your roll. But just to make you roll, I've got like a really bad plan for if you like fail this roll.
Okay. Great. So I'm still at desperate, aren't I, for this because the ship's coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Limited effect. Oh, am I at 0 again now because they're catching up with me?
I think they burned through the debris now.
Okay.
And they're closer, but yep. So
So I'll take.
Devil's Bargain.
No, I'm gonna take the 2 stress to get it to limited. That's all I need, isn't it? I just need the 1.
Yeah. You just need the 1.
Okay. And I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna go for it.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta roll the hard 6. This is one of those times.
Yep.
It's not a 6, but it's a 4. So you do it. So you get there.
We get out.
Yeah. You did it. You completed the great escape. You get to the jump gate and you can't push in the access codes fast enough. And then there's a merchant ship just like slowly getting into it. You just come along from the side, like you smash a radar dish off them and just fly into the jump gate and off you go. And the consequence is they're gonna put out some more people on your tail, which translates to heat.
This
Do you
want to
resist that?
Mission. I don't think I can. Well, I can. But I just don't think. I've. It's just too risky for me to try and resist it.
Right.
I'm one away from just.
What was the consequence? Sorry.
They're putting down 3 more heat on you in the Breck system.
I can't think of any way I could justify myself resisting it. Otherwise, I'd give it a go.
Yeah, but the night people will be happy with us.
Yeah, they will.
Actually, bloody well, I hope so, since I'm 1 trauma off like being retired.
Because I feel like, considering I'm reckless and unstable, and I'm currently like tapped out, I don't think Viper would care. Like in that second, he would just be like, "Let's just get out."
Just like go through the jungle. Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
Like, just.
I was gonna say, I'm imagining with a Death Star French. A little further, hold steady.
Almost got it. Oh, hold. Yeah. Yeah, and then. Yeah, cool. Okay, so they put down the 3 heat, which, as I've just learned, it fills it out a second time. They be putting out warrants on your asses in Breck.
Yeah,
I've got 1 to level 2 in the Breck system.
Yes.
We might have to lay low.
So
do you think
you blast away, and then we like straight cut to. Well, I suppose we could just end it there because I'm conscious of the time, and if you want to, we can deal with all the stuff, the bookkeeping next time. If you want to get off.
Probably a good plan. I am nodding off.
Yeah. Which is like we can just deal with all this. We have all the records.
I'm happy
everything's
to chat for a bit, but yeah, I think,
good. So we will deal with the fallout and your gains.
When I'm going to be like, Viper, just don't especially fancy going gambling so we can reduce some of this massive amount of stress we've been accumulating.
I could go for cards.
I could sure go for some gambits about now.
Yep.
Oh yeah, we're going to spend big, boy.
I'm not going to spend that big unless the night speakers give us some money, because I've only got 3 creds to my name.
Because you were putting bounties on yourself. Good times. Thanks for playing.
Thank you for running out.
That was, again, a little bit different from what we did last time. Hopefully it was fun and enjoyable to some degree.
Ran out there.
It was nice as well that we finally got to see, like, because we've not really done any space fighting bits.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, Viper is like themed towards like piloting and stuff like that. So it was nice to actually get some like space fighting in and stuff. And it really did feel like, oh, we're like against the odds, and we're like, oh my god, they're making
Yeah.
me kill my ass next.
Yeah.
My character did get shanked in that. Like he's taken some pain. Even in the driving seat, he's like not, but he has taken some serious pain from this.
I would say that compared to like the flight away at the end, like breaking out the prison was a piece of piss.
Yep.
Yep. But you had the way on your side, which that counts for a lot.
He's never on my side much longer if I get another like 6 stress.
Yep. All right, we should probably call it there.
Okay, I shall stop the stream. Thank you very much again for running it.
Yep.
Thanks
Thanks
for
for playing.
Massive thanks for running the game.